Grab your beverages and turn up your interweb. Solving the world's problems 12 ounces at a time. It's Dudes and Beer.
I'm sure that they must have already done that and figured out at least who that idiot is.
They didn't, though, because once Reddit deleted his account,
well,
they can't really trace
they can't track it?
I guess they can ping.
They can
They
ping.
gotta be able
They
to.
can show what the origin of that
But if you
email
have a VPN,
was.
it's almost impossible. It's all Russia. Like everything.
Oh,
pings
yeah,
to Russia
no,
or
yeah.
Korea. You know, there's really no way to.
Yeah.
To,
Yeah, no, if you're
Yeah,
onioning
I'd be
your...
surprised if that person actually even lived around here.
Stuff.
he probably doesn't. You're probably right.
Probably just a jerk. But yes,
Yeah,
it seems like
obviously
Reddit should have left it up for a little bit so they
Well,
could
and
have made sure to track
It's
him down.
interesting because for months, like Julie lives right up around the area of the last explosion, and for months now, she has posted all over Facebook about hearing a gunshot.
And called the police.
Yeah, she was telling me about that, dude.
And
She was saying that.
Just
you
once,
know,
every night.
I'm not going to say that I have a checkered past. I don't have a checkered past, but I definitely had an experimental past in my childhood, especially chemically, as far as making chemicals go.
Somebody might have been.
Yeah.
Jeez, maybe don't admit that right now. Well, you're not in Austin, you're alright.
No. I mean, I'm not even talking
You're like,
about.
Are you the Zodiac Killer?
It was the fact that, like, yeah, you know, I was a pretty smart kid, and
Come on,
like,
yeah, when we were kids, we all did.
I made my
potato
own
guns.
I
And
made
Right.
my own homemade gunpowder.
I like them
You know,
taters.
I would tear apart model
Yeah,
rocket
like-
engines and turn them into other things.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. And when you're doing it, you surely test it on a small scale, and test it on a small scale numerous times before you
Well, see,
upscale.
I live in Bastrop, so I hear AR-15s all night, every night.
Oh yeah.
Literally wrapping up on Saturday night is
Jesus Christ.
You hear, but also there's a
Now
military
remember
base
that-
not too far
yeah.
from there.
Yeah.
But this is not the military base.
No.
That's artillery shells.
Yeah.
The guns are just people just shooting.
Yeah,
in
just
your
pop
backyard.
it
Well,
off
and
in the
you can
backyard.
tell the difference between
Right.
that. Like, honestly, at this point, living in Texas, gunshots don't really bother me when I hear them. This was like every day for like a month. It was at like 7 something at night,
Yep.
and then it switched to be around 1:30 in the morning, and it was
I see what
like
you're saying there.
hit or miss almost every night, but just one loud.
One loud
Boom.
big, yeah.
Yeah.
'cause
And-
how does this- that's a pretty valid point, Julie. Because what?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I
person
called the
might have been
police. A
doing.
lot of people
Yeah.
called the police,
No,
and we're
that's
like,
what I'm
this
saying. It
person's
was-
definitely
it was
up to something.
quite
And they
possibly
never
some-
followed up on it. They would drive around and be like, well, we didn't hear anything. Well, like, yeah, because it happens once. Come back tomorrow
Yeah,
at 7 to 8 o'clock.
Hang
It'll
around,
happen
you know,
again.
hang
But
around.
they never followed up
You'll hear
on it. And then now everybody's calling in. Like, this was definitely possibly
Yeah.
related. Like,
Yeah.
this could be somebody trying to figure out what they were doing.
Like I'm saying, before I like packed my own model rocket engines and stuff, I would make like literally like empty a big pin tube and test my formula in that before I packed it into
Something little
larger.
before you're going to do major damage.
Yeah.
This
You know?
person has to be testing it. You're right. And then what are they going to
Yeah.
do? If it's some kid, they're not going to drive out to, BFE to do it.
No,
Um,
I was smart enough and actually like made like a little underground range and used like just drove like a big stick down into the ground by about
you're
9 or
like-
10 inches.
You're like the Southeast Texas version of Rocket Man.
Yeah. And
Basically.
then and then like I'd get it ready for electric ignition and put the barbecue grill lid on top of it, and you never heard anything.
My brother burnt the forest down across our street from our house doing that kind of thing.
I set a field on fire one time.
God dang, Chris.
Yeah, I think Brian lit his
No
front
more
yard on fire when
cooking
he was
taters
little.
for you, bro.
I set my neighbor's fence on fire. I'm not even gonna lie. I spent the better part of the years before I was 18 on double secret probation.
I really think what's going on.
After school.
I think what's going on here in Austin is sophisticated and not just somebody, just a rogue. Because like to me, it's like you have 3 of them that went off that first time in that one
I
day.
don't know if it's that.
I don't know if it's that sophisticated, but I would definitely say that it's probably a couple people working in concert.
It's maybe, but
Right.
Here's what I'm going to say.
There was timing involved. Somebody timed that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off there, Steve. I think I know
No,
what you're talking about. I know what you're saying, but it's sophistication. I mean, I'll make a comparison here to
Yeah.
something we still don't talk about, which is the snafu that Chris almost made earlier by saying the Boston bombing.
Yeah.
In Boston, we don't talk about the Boston bombing. We don't talk about the sentences. We don't talk about anything that happened with that. But what the
They do
difference
in Boston?
is, I'm sure they do in Boston. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It's a valid point. But here, the difference
Weird, Boston to
is
Austin.
that was just two dudes. How many people got killed?
One.
One person got killed. How many people?
No,
got
no,
injured?
no. One person.
Well, two.
No, it was a brother was kind of helping out with the
There
other
was
brother.
a
Yeah,
brother, but there was
couple
only
of
one
them,
dude with
yeah.
an explosive device.
Well, how many people were killed?
Like several. I can't remember now. I feel terrible.
I never
because
heard
that's
the whole
where I'm
guy's.
from, but
I never heard the
like
whole guy
60
thing.
people got hurt though.
And then a bunch of people got hurt. That was a sophisticated bomb compared to what's going on here. People are getting
Right.
hurt closely, but I mean, and the difference is the targets aren't. I mean, they might be political, but they're not. If you want to get political, there's a rally every day in Austin. You can go to
Yeah.
the front steps of the Capitol.
Yeah, no doubt.
You could have went to
Yeah.
South by. You could have not called
Guaran-
in a bomb threat and gone to a show.
Guarantee you there's an Antifa event.
That's why I
this
think
week.
it's weird though, because it started out residential and
but
then
that's the
now
thing,
it's
is that
like moving on to bigger
There-
targets.
There was a show that was canceled.
Yeah, that was the Root show.
With the Roots, yes.
Yeah, but that
Hey,
was a
Chris, we
different
walked right
guy.
by that the day before, bro.
I know,
the
brother.
Fairfield. Yeah, we
I know.
walked right by going to my truck after our show, after our gig, and then it was like,
But
yeah,
then-
and then it's the next day.
That was just a dumb kid though with a stupid sense of humor.
But
And that was when I
Well,
said, is that Copperhead Road? Remember, Chris?
That
I was
was-
like, is that Copperhead Road?
That was
Yeah.
definitely unrelated.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that people on my Facebook and Twitter and everywhere I'm looking, people like to attribute, like everybody in Austin, and I'm going to lead this back a little bit.
Go ahead.
Real fast, and then I'm going to ramp it up to the topic.
Bring it.
Is back during the election, everybody was talking about civil war. Everybody was talking about we need something to happen. It's about to happen. The white supremacists are taking over. And, no matter which side you get on that, whether you're Antifa, white supremacist, whether you're a Nazi, or whether you're just somewhere in the middle going, hey, y'all motherfuckers is crazy. No matter what side you take, what they wanted at the time, a lot of my friends and, like, people that I consulted with on a daily basis were like, we're ready for a civil war. We're
Yep.
tired of these bad
Division.
people taking over, and it was all division. Yeah, you're right, Steve. It was all people ramping up to this idea of a civil war. But look at them now. This is a very small taste of what a civil war would look like.
Yeah.
It's very tiny. And they think somehow that they could digest and take and participate in a civil war. But you're seeing it now. None of us want to see this. Nobody wants to see bombings. Nobody wants to see
No.
people get hurt. And,
No.
I've been telling people, like, okay, so you think punch a Nazi is a great idea, then just get ready for what comes after. And I'm not saying...
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying about punch a Nazi. I don't know if y'all have talked about it. The people they're talking about aren't real Nazis. They're just Republicans. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you get in a situation where you vilify
That's a good
them.
one.
You
Yeah.
start to vilify people. And you make them evil.
Well,
and it's a dividing line, like Stephen just said. And then all of a
where
sudden
you
got-
get to the root of true bigotry,
Yep.
which is just literally
Yeah.
narrowing people down into a group and
Exactly.
hating that group
And here's
of
what
people
they don't understand.
for one
Chris,
person or a
we've
group
talked
of
about this
people's
before.
actions.
Here's what people don't understand. This world will not be fought by me and you.
No.
Wars are fought by mercenaries, and mercenaries come from outside of the country the war is fought in.
Yep.
And this is the problem that we're having is people with a lot of ideas and opinions don't understand that they're getting themselves into a world of trouble when they start to just believe and participate in the idea that we're just going to start a revolution.
Yeah.
Right, and
against
that
the-
violence would be
Yeah.
at all helpful.
Right,
Yeah, and
for their own
right.
cost.
Yeah, I'm all about violence. I mean, to be honest with you, if indeed it needs to be done. If
Dude.
I catch somebody hurting a friend of mine or my family, I swear to God, I will do whatever it takes to ensure that they don't exist anymore. But I don't do it on ideals. I don't say, Chris,
Yeah.
I don't like the color of your skin, and
No,
I
and
think
we've
gingers have no souls. I'm not going to choke
Well,
you
they
down.
don't.
You
That's
know
been
I have
proven.
one soul
Except
for
for
every
Albus.
freckle on my skin. That's how many I've collected.
Don't like the gingerbread man.
But you see my point, right? Like it's
Yeah.
you don't hurt people based on ideals. You hurt people based on defense.
Yeah.
And people say there is a thing that people say. They say, well, your words are violent because of what result that can happen because of them.
Well, and
Are you that fucking stupid?
That even
that you
goes
allow people's
right.
words
that
to
goes
affect you
that
much?
goes straight to the heart of where our country's been for the last since 9/11. In the fact
which
that
could
we
arguably be an inside job.
Well, whatever on that. That's a totally
The fear.
different episode.
Sparking fear and division.
The concept that I'm talking about is number one, yes, fear and division. Number two, the fact that we went to war against an ideal.
Yes, thank
we
you very
went
much.
to war against terrorism.
Right.
You can't go to war against an idea.
Because a little boy wanted to make his daddy happy.
You know?
Do you know what I'm saying there?
And yeah. and his
Oh, yeah.
constituents.
You get what I'm saying? George W. Bush,
yeah.
George.
You know, because of that,
yeah.
and you can't go to it. It was kind of like I liked a lot of the things that Barack Obama did, but one of the things that drove me nuts was like, really, you're running on a platform of hope and change. Those are whatever. Like that's an
I'll tell you
inqualifiable.
who got changed.
Like who's hope, who's
I
change.
can promise
whose
you who
version
got
of that?
changed. Libya got the most amount of change they could
They got
possibly
a lot.
get without even a warning.
But
They didn't even get told.
We
Bringing
always
it-
get promises, and it's always said during the campaign, but really never matches up later. You know.
Well,
It's true.
and
It's
to
true.
start bringing it back, one
Yes,
of the
sir, we
things
went-
that
we
I
went
said
hammer there.
during the last election was the fact that I think that all political ads should be labeled as propaganda and terrorism. Because most of them are based on fear, and the definition of terrorism is using fear to get your political
Okay.
view across.
I don't agree with that specifically, but I understand the joking point, the tongue-in-cheek,
Yeah.
the sarcasm and the irony. Satirical.
Should be labeled as political advertisement, though, for sure.
You know what I do agree with. I
Sure,
don't
but
think
when
that-
it starts talking, so and so's gonna take your rights away, like,
Right.
you know, like that's
I mean,
feeding
yeah,
off
Chris,
people's
if I
fear.
see
Did you do
it
the
what I would
over,
support,
like
though?
approved by any kind of a candidate or a PAC or
Yeah.
a super PAC, I'm immediately going to take it for what it is. It's like basic
Sure.
nonsense.
I'd say it has to be
Sure.
based on fact. If it ain't based on fact, then it's propaganda.
Well, the problem with that is what do you determine fact is? Because you can literally
Right.
sit and listen to Trump. You can
Oh,
literally
damn.
sit and
What
listen
is
to Trump
is
say
now,
fake
right?
news, right?
What's
So listen to
is?
this. Here's what Trump does. He says fake news, and
Right.
everybody's like, oh fuck that guy. But honestly, he's right.
There
It
is fake news.
No,
Yeah,
when he
but
calls
it's
it
not
out,
all
it's
fake
actually
news.
no.
Right.
Of course
It's not all
Like,
fake news. It's
of
not
course
all
of
fake
it.
news. No.
But you can't tell me that you watch Anderson Cooper or CNN and go, you know what? I'm really identifying with that.
We
guy
just
saying."
one of the articles
No.
that we just posted. It's not
That
on the
dude's
topic
CIA.
of conversation tonight, but one of the topics that we posted
Yeah, isn't
in,
he CIA?
in the dudes
Isn't
and
he-
beer
Go
dudes
ahead.
and
I wanna
beer
say he is.
news.
Anderson
He was.
Cooper?
He was
Yeah,
at
he
one
was
point.
CIA.
He is yes.
Come
He's
on, dude.
cute. He's
Oh,
a
yeah.
good-looking older dude.
Yeah.
Julie's
Oh,
after
okay.
his ass.
He's not into you though, Julie.
Sorry,
He's
Tom,
not
he
into
doesn't-
me, I know. That's
yeah.
all right. I can still
I've,
look.
I've noticed when he's
Brian's
off
a
his
catch.
makeup and stuff, he's really.
Brian is a cat. She is, yeah.
So, but one of the things that I posted was the fact that yes, like during the first Iraq War and everything else, apparently there were like videos that were made by a company in Britain that the CIA paid
Oh, what was the
for
name of that
that
company?
were utter
They were just caught
propaganda
recently.
videos.
They were
Yeah,
just
no,
caught
like
recently.
I posted the article on the Dudes and Beer
Yeah,
Week
it's
in the
from
News
Channel
today.
4 from the BBC channel, whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like this kind of stuff happens all the time. And that brings us right into the next topic, which is the whole Cambridge Analytica situation. The people who, Donald Trump's campaign used to target ads on Facebook and other social media. And apparently they went through and were targeting ads to certain people, all kinds of stuff, and paying to do so. And it just strikes me as odd that even came out as a news story to begin with.
Well, because didn't the
Right, I know,
other
it's
side
like-
do the same thing? They both did it, right? They
Everybody
both
does.
use companies outside of the U.S. to use
Yeah.
to come up with propaganda.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, the whole dossier was come up in that way.
Yeah, oh, the PP tape or
Yeah.
whatever it was called.
Yeah.
The PP dossier.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
VP
Yeah.
tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever
Yeah.
it was, the PP dossier. Like,
Yeah.
I
It was
love
paid
it,
for
dog.
by
I love
Hillary
it.
Clinton.
Yeah.
The PP tape.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny to think about.
It's great.
Because you can imagine Trump doing some shit like that, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure, man.
right.
He totally pulled an R. Kelly.
I know. But yeah, R. Kelly's still playing concerts around the... Whatever.
Kidnaps people.
See
and
how
it's
people don't
still
give a
fine.
shit?
Yeah, that is the concept, is the fact that people's ideas are so short-lived now.
Yeah.
There's such a barrage of information. Like, people forgot the fact that Edward Snowden happened 5 years ago, and that it was revealed that the U.S. government was actively picking up everybody's big data in a swath of information.
I know. Wasn't Edward Snowden or was the other guy? Julian Assange was Obama's hero for a minute there, right?
He was,
Do you
and
remember
then there came to be a sexual allegation.
No, that was just the reason why they were trying to
But
get
Bradley,
That's what led him out. Actually, Steve-O, one of the articles that we posted on Dudes and Beer Week in the News this week was the fact that the person that outed
Bradley
Manning died.
Right.
This last week. Not a
And
mysterious. They haven't said why, but it was no mysterious
yeah,
causes.
7-year-old not suspicious.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Whenever somebody who's not even 40 yet just dies,
right.
I feel like
You know what
it's
somebody
a-
needs to do? Somebody needs to do a video.
I'm 39. It's like, Jesus Christ, if you would have found me 37 in my room fucking dead,
But
like, wouldn't there be something you'd
It's
be
interesting.
suspicious
There is the Bradley, now Chelsea Manning,
Right.
And it was.
Hold on, I have to say something about
Go
that.
ahead.
Do you think? Now listen to me. Y'all don't.
I got-
Nobody get offended if you're listening. Just,
No, no.
just.
I'm open-minded.
Feel me here. Do you think that he would have been forgiven so quickly if he had still had a penis between his legs? Come on, just answer me that question. Because
I don't know.
he's like
No.
easily forgiven for
You know,
being a
if he
traitor.
got it removed or not. I
No,
don't know.
she did.
Oh, she did?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think,
okay.
And
Yeah.
by she, he, I mean she. So do you think that? I don't think that if it had just been a cisgendered white male, that he would have been forgiven. Like, because obviously people have just completely forgiven him. Like, they don't even think about him being a traitor.
No.
Like a literal traitor.
They don't remember
Yeah.
the soldiers that died because of the
Yeah.
information he gave.
You know what
them.
I'm saying? Like, anyways, I just wanted to ask that really.
But
deep,
that was
hard question.
a concept that we brought up
I
previously.
would like to know
was
his
that
treatment while he was locked up. I'd really like Chelsea to come forward and let us know how he was treated during that whole time.
Well, we know, at least once she got back here, that
I keep saying he, but she.
her
I mean,
she.
treatment was totally covered by
Yeah.
the United States. Like, we paid for all of
Fuck,
her
I wanna go to prison so I
therapy
can
and
get
her
some
operation
dick.
and everything.
but
everything.
while she was a prisoner or
Everything was
whatever
covered.
that
Oh,
was.
probably
yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
no,
don't know.
it occurred while she was a prisoner
That's crazy. I mean, no offense,
Yeah.
but
because she came out Chelsea.
Because it was like a medical.
She
you
went
know,
in Bradley
Because
and
I can
came out
only
Chelsea.
imagine what, to piss off an APD officer, let alone piss off a government. You've got guards and stuff in the government that are you're the guards and you're the fucking prisoner, and you're just so held up on this. You're the high note of
Well, yeah,
of
just-
government espionage or whatever. And what kind of treatment would you receive from that? I mean,
Oh yeah,
I
I,
could
bet
only
people
imagine
probably treated her
the
like
guards,
garbage. Yeah.
and that's what I wish,
Maybe.
because
I don't know. Do you think
yeah,
so?
there's no way they
Think so?
treated her right.
Well,
you know?
well, number one,
I don't know about that.
number one, transgender people are not treated extraordinarily well in
let's
jail
not
to
think
begin with.
statistically. We're not thinking statistically. We just want to talk about her.
Well, and
Right.
Like, statistics are different than
I was of the mind of, if you need the surgery to be who you need to be, fantastic. Let's get
Right.
done. Let's get done with a trial first
Yeah, I just don't think that we should have
before
paid for it.
Exactly. Until
I mean,
like,
look, if say
if you're
you
found
got a
guilty,
prison guard
then
that's there working at the prison next to Chelsea Manning,
Yeah.
and that dude can't even get his dental care paid
Yeah.
for, and they're like literally doing like a $200,000 operation
Yeah.
to not be so crass, to chop off the dude's penis. Then she's a woman, and then put implants in her chest, and then rebuild a vulva
And-
out of a dismembered penis.
and
Now,
hormone
let's just-
therapy.
Being very frank about what happens. You can change somebody's. You can be a gender, but you really can't change the sex, because we all know that you're born with certain things, and it's fine, whatever you want to identify with.
Right.
But my point
But
is,
I-
we shouldn't pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to somebody. I mean, for their
Is
mental
that like
health? They're already
common
mentally unhealthy.
procedure?
No.
Would anybody in prison get that same treatment?
No.
Do you think?
No.
They don't even get dental care.
well,
They
think
don't
about
even
it,
get-
Julie. You and
No,
granted, you
not
worked
guards, prisoners.
Yeah,
That's what I mean,
but
prisoners,
they
yeah.
they wouldn't.
They wouldn't.
I would say that's
That's
more.
what I was wondering.
I would
like,
say
Think
that
about it
surgery
from
is
an
more of a want
insurance
than a
point of
need.
view.
Well, it's a
Think-
it's a propaganda tool. They
you
probably
worked-
did that so he would open up. She would
because
open up. They probably did
well,
that for,
not just that, but
it's
she was
conducive. Yeah.
pardoned later,
Yeah.
so it was absolutely a tool by which
crazy.
to set up these
That's
great
crazy.
things.
You know what I want to see? I
Right,
want to see a
right.
video.
But-
I want to see a video of
If-
Hillary Clinton and it's what's it called? That song called "Bodies." Watch the bodies hit the floor, and I want every person that's been murdered because tied to Hillary Clinton.
Oh,
And
God.
I want me to
that's
try that
been
in.
proven.
And somebody, I know that.
Yeah,
But
we
you see,
know.
I'm joking here. Obviously,
Yeah.
He's got a smile as big as Christmas on his face while he says it, Julie.
I don't know. I can't see it.
All
You're far away.
I'd like to
I
say
know,
is
I know.
if
We're
a
lucky to have
court's
the connection we
decision,
have.
a court's ruling a decision based upon somebody's gender or sex or whatever, then it's a problem with the court if that's the case. Because I mean, I feel everything y'all are saying and everything, but it's like, yeah, at the same time, it's like it doesn't matter what you are, who you are, want to be, or what is. Then it's about what you did, what you
Exactly.
do, whatever.
No, it's
I don't
not
like-
what you are, it's what you
Right.
did.
I don't want to get hung
Yeah.
up on that. The reason why I use that as an example is because
No, you're good
you
on
pay
that,
an
yeah.
astronomical amount of money for a
Right.
surgery instead
Right.
of
That is a
investigation.
voluntary procedure.
And investigate. Well, some say,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. But the point is that money, like, it's like, say, if Dylan Roof decides he's a woman
have
tomorrow,
prob-
they're not going to make Dylan Roof a woman tomorrow.
No.
Like, he's a convicted killer he's going to be executed, right? If God willing, inshallah, as they say,
Yeah.
whether you believe in the death penalty or not, that dude's going to be executed. Are they going to?
Yeah, in one way or another, somebody's going to take his ass out.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, either way,
right.
if he gets out, yeah, or
Yeah.
he's going to be choked out in prison.
Lynch
whatever.
mob.
Yeah.
Get the Dahmer.
Inmate.
He deserves what's
I'll
coming to
shiv
him.
in the
People serve
Playgrounds.
justice.
But
prison
I mean,
playgrounds.
Yep.
Yeah, it is weird to think about major surgery being done in prison, but
I know,
guess
right?
probably the argument would be if it's not voluntary, like let's say that there was some sort of a surgery that could cure, like, I don't know, something else that you wouldn't necessarily die if you didn't do, but you definitely have a better quality of life. Would they do that for you in prison? Did we lose you guys?
Guys. Hey, guys. Oh, shit. Somehow we lost him. Did we call them originally, or they called us? I can't remember.
They called us, but from the DnB one. I called him from his. Hey, there
Hey,
you are.
guys. Yeah, we lost you there.
Were you just listening to us chatting away over here and we couldn't hear you?
Oh, okay. Cool.
Sorry, I'm glad I didn't just start like reading my texts out loud. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. So yeah, like Julie was saying, if there was something else that like non-life threatening, you know, surgery or something needed to be done in prison.
Well, we could probably arrange that. Do you want to go to prison?
I'll stick with my cavities. I think I'll make.
No.
Oh, God.
Especially if you were on death row, they'd be like, no, fuck you.
Nah, there's only one guy on that list, and it's Dick Cheney.
Yes,
Nah.
but probably only to the. It depends on what your plan is, and it wouldn't be the whole thing. Like I'm getting surgery on Thursday, and I'm like $3,500 out of pocket, and it is medically necessary. So I can only imagine, and that's for like a, I don't know, $15,000 surgery. If you were looking at like a $300,000 surgery, you'd be out of pocket at least $60,000, I would think.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And, you
It's
know,
a lot of cheese.
well, and that's just it. Number one, my question is, would it be deemed, and not just would it be covered by your insurance? Sure, if you've got good enough insurance, friggin' breast implants are covered. I mean, hell, if I have good enough insurance, I could go to the doctor and be like, doc, I'm just not in my right mind. I don't know what it is. I think my penis is too small. I feel really inadequate as a man. I think I could do better in life.
Would
You know what's
barely even
funny,
have
though?
a copay for that shit.
You can do that.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. That's just it. But gender reassignment surgery, I don't think is going to be as easy as a sell and going to be just like covered by your insurance. You know what I mean?
No,
I think there's
it
going to
would
be
though, because there's the medical definitions for it in the that big old psychology handbook that I'm forgetting the name of.
It's the suicide rate is what really gets it. It's been they've said that people have determined, there are psychologists that have determined that the suicide rate drops, however insignificantly among people.
It's not even insignificant. It's fairly significant.
I think it's still pretty, like, it's around 40%. So I mean, if people don't understand what we're talking about, there's I'm just saying
a 40% drop is pretty.
No, not a 40% drop. It hovers to about 40%.
Oh, okay.
It's not. We can look it up. I don't know if anybody's looking that up right now, but
I will.
It's hard to do that.
I'm running a broadcast, so if you'd like to Google it, feel free to.
It's hard to pontificate.
Ticky-tack away there.
Sorry,
my friend.
Chris. You're very important.
I know.
I guess,
It's just that
you
want
can
to
agree
keep
on is that any life saved is one worth doing
any
it
life
for,
saved is
Well, that
fantastic.
leads us to
Absolutely.
let's point at a couple of things before. I know that you want to move on topics, but so mental health. We can pretty much obviously point to the fact that let's just go ahead and talk about these specific white men that have killed people recently in mass shootings, and not all of them were white men, but a lot of them were. And let's just point to specifically. We could look at Europe too. A lot of them are Muslim men. We could look at France. Those are Muslim men. We could look all over, but one thing points to one specific thing. Most of these men have mental health problems, and it's been proven, and it's come out that most of these guys are on psychotropic drugs.
Yep.
And they have issues. So when you're treating, these people's health issues, and mental health is a health issue, with drugs that say clearly on the label may cause suicidal thoughts. If you start to have suicidal or homicidal thoughts, please call immediately and stop taking the drug immediately. But then your doctor tells you if you stop taking the drug for any reason at all, it could cause suicidal thoughts. What the fuck kind of world do we live in?
Dude, exactly. There's one, and I'm trying to.
They're all on the same drug.
I keep waiting for it. I've got my recorder, and I start recording every commercial I hear once it starts going through the side effects, and I can't remember the drug. But one of them,
is it the one with the irritable bowel?
No. One of the first 5 side effects was death.
Those are potato chips.
Exactly.
Was literally death.
Like
that one where the woman's dressed like the stomach running around. That one does say death in it. Yeah.
And it was like, oh my sweet baby Jesus! Like here's this pill for an innocuous friggin' thing that with maybe a little bit of treatment you could deal with, but the possible side effect is death.
I don't know if y'all listen to Adam Carolla at all, but one of the things that he says, Adam Carolla says, "Look, I've got the cure for your depression, and let's admit you can't cure depression with a simple thing, but it's a joke." That he says, just get up in the morning and take a really cold shower. Like extremely cold, an uncomfortably cold shower for about 5 minutes, and get out and see if you don't feel a little bit invigorated, and let that take you on to a next step of doing something else that takes you outside the box of your depression. Not saying that you should cure depression by weird
or just with a cold shower.
With a cold shower.
Yeah.
The point is, I think the cold shower is a little bit better than a drug that says may cause you to commit suicide and or kill 50 people with a fucking machine.
Probably just matters, or depends on the severity of your depression. If you're just like a little bit bummed out, it totally takes.
That's the same advice an unorthodox psychiatrist would say.
Depressed anyway,
like the root of my depression was anxiety. So once I treated my anxiety, the depression just went away.
Right. Well, that could be also mental.
Yeah.
And the chemical could be a catalyst for the mental.
Some of it is.
It's a dependency issue. You still get a cycle of dependency.
And what was great was my doctor, before they put me on meds, even as they started putting me on low dose, building me up, sent me to 6 months of talk therapy to learn coping mechanisms to where I could deal with it.
Right.
So it was great.
But you gotta admit that your depression has a lot to do with other things that you can control. I'm not saying that your drugs aren't helping you.
No.
I don't want to trigger that, and I understand because I'm personally, I'm just not for any kind of drugs when it comes to like mental health. But I do
So
understand.
you're probably not seriously affected by mental health disorders then.
Well, I don't know. I think I have been. My mom was schizophrenic, and she died just a couple of years ago, partly due to the way that she treated herself because of that. And she wasn't treated the way that she should have been. But I would say that some of the drugs that she was put on made her worse and made her very much more schizophrenic.
Yeah, schizophrenia is really a tough one. You got to be like under constant care while they figure out the right way.
And when
to
I
deal
say
with
she
it.
was schizophrenic,
my mom's side of the family
she was on and
all
off.
has
Like,
it.
it wasn't. But there's a difference. So you're on the spectrum with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
She was on the where she's sometimes manic and schizophrenic, and sometimes she's not.
Yeah.
Like, and that could have been drug induced, could have been alcohol induced. She had a lot of things going on. But the point is that I've been affected by depression. But yes, you're right, Julie. One of the things, the difference between me and what I've noticed in the world, I never had access to like medical care until just recently. So I wouldn't even have done anything if I could have. Like, I've been depressed. Everybody's been depressed. I just probably drank or smoked or ran or rode a bike. Riding a bike is what helped
and
me
that's the
most.
thing. Like, for me, even whenever
I've got
I
one
first,
if you like.
even
I've got too many.
even when I first, just so you know, shout out, do it, give it to them, everybody. Where should they go to get themselves a pedicab in Austin?
Oh, you can hook up with bike pimps. We got tricycles all over Austin. Actually, there's only 5 of them. But bike pimps at bikepimps.com. Check
There
us
you
out.
go. There you
Now
go.
you can just find us on the street corner. Really, I don't do that much anymore. But I also got bikes for rent.
I got a bike, you can ride it if you like. It's got a basket and a bell.
But
But I keep getting us off topic. I'm sorry, but I keep doing that.
that's all right. That's all right.
Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, the Cambridge Analytica stuff was something that really blew my mind as to even be a topic of conversation, because like you work big data conferences, I work big data conferences.
Dude, let me tell you.
Like,
do you remember Sarah Week? Okay, I have to tell y'all this. 2 years ago at Sarah Week. Oh, well.
it's all right.
I couldn't say
At
I
an
should say
unnamed
that.
show.
Can we delete that?
I'll take care of it in post.
Here's the point. Is 2 years ago when the Russian thing happened,
Yeah.
they were showing pictures. Trump shook hands with so-and-so. They were taking pictures every day. Trump, blah, blah, with so-and-so. And Trump is with the Russians. And I literally was on Facebook like, y'all, I'm actually sitting here with the Russian oil minister right now. I put a microphone on him. I'm actually chilling with the whole Russian entourage. Like, they're like co-lamping in America. They're not like hiding it. This is not a secret. They're like doing business here. Nobody's hiding anything.
No.
Like, they're here. The Russians
We
are
were
here.
in active competition with them for drilling in the Arctic.
And then I was like, why y'all mad at the Russians? Let's talk about what y'all are doing. Like, not about the political parties, but let's just talk about, like, this is what's been going on for, like, at least the last 60 years.
Damn, and Rex Tillerson wanted to drill in the Arctic really bad.
They did. They did for a little bit, and they decided it wasn't worth it. But now they're going to try it again, apparently. But,
Yeah, you ain't gonna get past that goddamn UFO shit down there. Aliens, you ain't drilling in my house.
God,
You ain't drilling in my house.
But it just
Aliens
it
fuck
blew
them
my
up.
mind that, you know, it even became like a news story that, and granted, you know, there's all kinds of allegations right now that, you know, they used I guess sexual actors, you know, prostitutes, things
they've been
like
doing
that.
that. They've been
But
doing that.
I like, you hear about that kind of stuff in friggin' politics all the time. I'm not even concerned about that. It's like, whatever. This seems to be pretty status quo stuff to me. You know, I mean, everybody paid somebody to make something this last election.
Well, like, really, it's like they
So-
watch.
It's because everybody sucks. Like,
Yeah.
if everybody was awesome, they wouldn't have to keep making up bullshit.
Right.
Well, and
Well, who doesn't suck? Let's talk about that. I know we're getting off topic again.
no.
Who
No.
doesn't suck?
Right. It's
There's
impossible
one of
to know, I think, at this point. Like,
That's great.
What
We'll
about
get off
Kamala
topic.
Harris? Kamala
I'm
Harris
out.
was she's almost one of the ones that doesn't suck, but she has some negative. She has some bad views with Israel. Like, Kamala Harris could be one of the good ones. However, she's got a little bit of weird outlook on Palestine and Israel. So people don't like her.
one weird thing, as long as it, stays in check, is not as bad as, like,
No.
all the weird things
Yeah.
and one not very weird
The
thing. Like, we
Palestinian
currently have
and
going
Israeli
on.
conflict is
Yeah.
a huge deal.
But
in
the Israeli
in
conflict
the
is,
world.
yeah, that would be a tough one.
Yeah.
The Israelis and the Palestinians need to quit the goddamn fighting is what they need to
Well,
Yes,
we don't
I
help
agree.
with that.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
put a lot of
Yeah.
stir in that
Well,
pot.
do. That's some shit
And,
that we don't
you
put
know,
in our
I
fucking
mean,
war.
to
I'm
be
here
fair,
to tell
to be
you.
fair,
Like,
Israel
goes
needs to be
on.
protected because they would
Yeah.
get fucked up real fast. if
Yeah,
they weren't.
but I challenge you, and it's a great series on Netflix. It's by oh my god, his name just left my head. JFK.
Is it Dan Carlin?
No,
Oliver North?
Oliver Stone.
Yeah, so
Oliver Stone.
He said
The
Oliver
hidden
North.
history of the United States.
Y'all see what I just
No,
did?
but-
And yeah,
Little Jessica, the little
Yeah.
Jessica in the well.
yeah, little Jessica just came into my brain. Thank you.
Oh.
So
Sure.
yeah, the hidden history of the United States, and it goes through
Oh,
all
man.
of that. It
He
goes
took
through
such a good turn. I'm so in
like
love with that dude right now.
he like that whole series. I'm ready to rewatch it.
Yeah.
It was so well done
Ken
and
Burns is
so
doing another
incredibly done.
documentary about American history as well.
Yeah.
Also, Dan
Hey,
Carlin.
Chris, what is this you're talking about? How can I find this?
You can go on to Netflix.
It's on Netflix. It's
on
Oh,
Netflix.
What's it called?
If I'm not
People's
mistaken, it's
History of the
either
United States of America.
it's either the hidden history or the
I
secret
think it's the
history.
People's History. or
Okay.
something.
Okay. Cool.
It's
cool. I
not the
wanna check-
people's.
But you can also look up Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. He does
Yeah.
a very similar thing, but he just does it about like we're talking about
Yeah.
millennia ago.
It's
That's
it's
awesome.
pretty wild. It actually
Uncensored
goes
history.
from just before the First World War all the way through just about current, and
Right.
then it doubles
Untold
back.
history.
Gotcha.
The
That sounds
untold
fun.
history of the United States,
Okay.
and like it's absolutely amazingly well done. Like the facts behind it, the way it lays it out, the way it talks about the founding of the Federal Reserve, the fact that like every war that's been fought is nothing but a means by which to make money. And then
of
at the end of it, it loops back to like World War One, just so that like I know
God, it's
we've
a
been
roadblock.
through a lot, but you need to realize from now to then, in the last 2 episodes, we're gonna wrap it up from now till then. And
Right.
I just watched the last 2 before I came here, and it was just such a like mind overload. The information inside of it, it was absolutely wild.
And yeah, he's pretty unapologetic too. I like Oliver
Yeah.
Stone. He's just like, especially in interviews, people are like, "Why would you take on this project at this time and show history the way you are?" And he's like, "Because it's the truth."
Yeah,
They're like, "Well, they think he's being political leaning." He's like, "No, I'm just telling the history as I see it.
Yeah.
It's not political. This is the truth as I have
the
deciphered it."
the only thing in there that is possibly his opinion is whenever he says at one point, "They killed my president."
Well, they did. I mean,
But he was
Well-
also a soldier in Vietnam.
Yeah, well,
Like
yeah.
he went and served. Like he
Yeah.
did his stuff, and he saw crazy things happen.
what about that? Why? I mean, look,
But-
I'm not a Trump supporter, but what about when he dropped the whole concept that he was going to open up all the files of the Kennedy assassination, and the news just washed away into the ether.
There was a
We
lot.
never
Please
talked
feel
about
free
it.
to go on and visit dudesandbeer.com
Knowledge
/
Vault.
knowledge vault. You can go to government documents, and there is the entire JFK dump, tens of
Is
thousands
it
of
completely
pages.
Look like a checkerboard. It's all
No,
redacted
no,
out.
there's all kinds of stuff. And what's interesting is things that people have called conspiracy theory and shit like that, like Operation Northwoods,
Yeah.
Bay of Pigs, the full information on it.
So did we give him
all
credit
kinds
for
of
that?
stuff was absolutely like
Did we give
confirmed.
Did we give Trump
Confirmed.
credit for that? Did he do that, or was that just him just taking an opportunity?
Yeah,
It
who
was
do we give credit for that?
quite honestly, it was the fact of he said he would do it.
Well, he put it on Twitter. He's like, "Look, tomorrow I'm doing this. I don't care what anybody says. You can't stop me.
Yeah.
we're releasing these files."
Here's the
You know,
thing:
honestly,
they were up
honestly-
for release.
I guess what I was saying. It probably could
They,
have been already
they were
up.
up
yeah.
for release at the 50-year
But they
anniversary
still could have
anyway.
redacted.
Right.
Though.
They could have
chosen to redact
redacted, and that's
everything.
what he was saying was.
Hey,
what
Chris.
even if they
Hey,
choose
I
to
don't mean to
redact?
cut you off, Chris, but check
Go
this
ahead.
out. I honestly think that you're absolutely right. These guys in power, way back when, put these fucking time limits on shit. And you know what I'm talking about, on release of information. And it's these old geezers now either dead and gone or going out, and they don't give a shit now because they're so fucking old. And now things are coming to light. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the Vatican that has fucking shit secretive, locked up in cages and shit that would, it's like
Hey,
that. If
you
this
know-
information's coming out.
what's funny is one of the stories in the Dudes and Beer Week in the news this week is the fact that there is a new AI that's been written to start consolidating the Vatican secret files so that they can be made public. All the files in the Vatican vault, the AI will be absorbing the information and taking it in and collating it
and recoding it and making it say something completely different.
and making it even more secret.
Yeah.
Making Obama say, when I play with Barbie dolls, I really love the way their hair looks blonde.
and go Domino's Pizza.
Exactly.
Avoid the Noid.
We can do it now. We can release it now. Oh, all the Bush is almost dead now. Okay, great.
That's some legal issues. You really have to think deep. You have to think really deep about what would happen to the political climate if you release certain types of information. I mean, just look at look at how much the Trayvon thing affected America. You had riots for almost 2 years off and on just because of that, and that was based on arguably a situation that was framed completely different than what it actually was. Not saying anything, but it was just framed in a way that made people think differently than what actually happened. It was a dude, just a guy, a dude. The point is that you can't release information like that. There's people smarter than us that actually know this. To be a fact, they've actually seen like movements happen in society. I mean, look how long it took them to squash Occupy. Obama spent 3 years trying to kill that movement. He spent 3 years trying to stop them from ruining his presidency because he was almost made to look like a fool because during the first 2.5 years of his presidency, he had, not only did he have a protest in the streets, he had people in every major city sitting in city council turf with camps and pissing on the side of the city halls.
And most of that was due to the fact that he ran on the platform.
You don't remember that, do you?
Oh no, I do.
I'm saying just people in general.
Yeah,
like,
in general.
Oh yeah, like how dirty it was.
history.
Even here in Austin, there were people that just stayed on the city hall steps for long enough that it was just dirty.
It was all in response to the fact of he ran on the platform of against the banks, against the banks, against the banks.
And then he gives them $1 trillion.
Right, and then like
not only
he
did he do that, but he took toward the end of it all. He was taking money from Goldman Sachs. He was taking money from them for his campaign. So it was like even before you were elected, you started betraying.
I'm sure other
what you
people have
stood
done this,
for.
but we can tie it all in.
Every single one of them.
The point is yes, he gave. Look, I liked Obama. I think he's a handsome man. I like that he'll sneak outside to smoke a cigarette every once in a while.
He had some great ideas.
I like that he had some great ideas. I like that he's a good people person. But what I
that
don't
our
like...
economy turned around quite a lot.
The economy turned around?
Yeah.
What I don't... Well, we could attribute, a major terroristic fucking happening. Whatever. We could attribute that to anything. But he did do a lot. He did a lot of good things. He did help the economy, but he didn't help us. He did not help the economy in the fact that he said, we can't let these businesses fail, but you know what he told us? He said, you can fail. He said, I know you're losing your house in Cleveland, Ohio right now, but I'm not going to take this trillion. It's $1 trillion. I'm talking about $1 trillion. He did not give that money to anybody to pay off their mortgage. He gave that money to the banks who didn't get paid off the mortgages because of the bad loans.
Yeah.
He circumvented the people, took their houses away, and gave the banks the money. The banks lost nothing. CEOs of the time period were paying themselves
We're still getting bonuses. That was
$150 million bonuses on their way out the door.
It was nasty.
They were like, you know what?
Do you
This
see
is my
Toys R Us? They're getting like a $16,000 bonus?
Yeah.
16,000 or 16 million?
I mean, million. 16 million.
16 million.
That's not enough to keep them afloat. From who?
No. The CEO is getting that as a bonus after the bankruptcy.
Oh, but Mitt Romney's going to be the one taking all that cash. Right? Because that's his business. Mitt Romney's he's in the business of shutting down businesses, right?
Really?
Right? That's what Mitt Romney's claim to fame is. Besides the black book, what's the binder full of women comment? Oh, can we talk about that?
No, we can't talk about the binder full of women right now.
Why not?
Oh,
binder full of women.
Do you want to talk about the binder full of women, Julie?
Okay, listen. Julie.
It's been so long. You're going you're digging so far back. There's a lot of crazy happening every day. We don't need to go back to look for it.
But that's kind of the idea is that you have to remember the way far back. And that's
I like the binders full of women. That was hilarious.
That's the whole idea behind the whole untold history of America is like, dude, if you don't even remember 100 years back, Like,
I'm saying that to
there's
frame
some
it.
jacked up
Damn
stuff.
I'm saying that to reframe it because right now,
Yeah.
I want to set this up.
Go ahead.
Mitt Romney is looked on by the Democrats as kind of a hero, and they like him. And if he runs again, they're going to support him. I mean, have you noticed that in the news? And then he made a comment about binders full of women. Does anybody know what that comment actually meant? He said, "Yes, I actually do have a binder full of women that
that could like fill in different job positions.
They're the first
or
in line to be hired by my administration." He was being the ultimate feminist, and they shit on him. Like they completely like took him apart, and now he looks like a complete and utter angel against the things that Trump says. Like it's hilarious, right?
It's all perspective.
It's so perspective, and that's why I'm bringing it up because if you look at the mere fact that if we can look at Mitt Romney as a complete devil just 8 years ago, and now look on as a complete angel compared to somebody like Trump, who could arguably be the focus on him could change and he could look like an angel. Because I'll be honest with you, Trump has done some pretty good things recently when it comes to like North Korea. Like nobody even believes what the hell happened there, right? And I'm not saying that I'm a Trump supporter. I have to always say this because I don't want to get punched out for being a Nazi. But sometimes Trump can do some good
Nazi,
things.
then.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He like actually.
He's the most Nazi dude I know, really.
He went from.
I mean, I saw his picture on Facebook. He's got the Nazi haircut.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You went from North Korea and Trump like having the ultimate most almost like
Christ.
nuclear holocaust, and now he's like, hey, let's meet, let's just talk about not doing bombs anymore.
You know,
and Kim was like, you know what? I guess we'll meet. And how does that work? How can you go from being such an idiot to like making that happen when Obama in 8 years couldn't make that happen?
Because number one, and I will give him this, he's the master of the bluff.
Yeah.
And he didn't give a shit. Because, it was like, hey, we've got a nuclear weapon.
North
Guess
Korea
what? I got a button too, and it's bigger than yours.
Yeah,
you know?
But see, there's all these wars that have been going back and forth. What made fucking whatever his name is wanting to meet? Now it's like if somebody's been calling you names for so many months now, as harsh as they have been, it's like, why would you want to meet with this dude?
Well, because I'll be honest with you,
Curiosity, probably.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Stephen.
Right?
I have a point to that.
Go ahead.
Is Stephen? If I never met you, Stephen. I'm sorry. What do you prefer?
Right.
Okay.
All right. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Hey, dude. All right, check it out, dude. Hey, dude. If you called me fuckface for like the last 3 weeks and shithead and like cuntface, I'll probably be more likely to like be like, you know what? What's this dude about? Why is he calling me a cuntface all the time? And if I saw you in the street, I'm pretty sure that I would interact with you a lot more than I would somebody that just talked to me like a normal person.
In all honesty,
because you can't trust normal people, right? You can't trust the way they interact. So I'm saying I think that sometimes, not bullying, but sometimes like ribbing somebody and calling them names and fucking with them actually creates more of a camaraderie.
It's like me and Chris were talking about.
It can. It
well,
can.
It obviously did in this
I
case.
can. I think Obama was kind of trying to look a little bit more professional, and Trump just doesn't give a fuck.
No, and that's just it. Like his true cavalier, I don't give a fuck attitude. Like, you want to come at me, bro? Like, seriously,
All right,
you
Rocket,
want to
man,
come
let's
at
do
me?
it. That's
Like,
nice.
let's go, bring it. And that was one of the things that was one of the things that, despite the fact that I didn't like a lot of his policies, that I actually lauded George W. about, was the fact that he was so cowboy and so committed to what he said that people were just afraid of him. They're like, oh no, like that dude's fucking crazy. Like he will come invade your country.
That dude's crazy.
In a way, it's kind of
like,
almost
it will
like kind of a
happen.
Patton kind of way. You say?
Yeah, but I don't
Like,
think he's
in a way.
I don't think he's gonna. I'm sorry. What was
I-
that, Steve?
I'm sorry. You
Cut
go.
away, Steve.
No, I was just saying, like in a way, like kind of a Patton style of thinking or something, or attitude.
Yeah. Maybe I think that if Trump did like attack a country, he'd tell him first. Like he'd be like, "All right, I'm about to fuck you up," but like Obama didn't.
I think you're
Obama
It
didn't.
shouldn't.
Well, like literally, Obama and Hillary Clinton they had a backdoor meeting. They were like, "All right, we're gonna invade Libya and we're gonna make their lives better." They literally went into the country, destroyed it, made it into an ISIS playground and shithole, and and just left them. They just walked away. They destroyed the whole country and walked away.
I've got to find
Well,
I've got to find the sociologist that I heard on the radio, because I heard him a few weeks ago, and they were talking about this. It was an acronym that was like 4 letters, but it was basically like hear, react, act, decide.
Right.
And it was this process that's used by like Uber people and like millionaires,
that
like
you're gonna do what you say.
Like people like Richard Branson, where it's like you hear something and before you even act on it, you've reacted to it.
Right.
That's what we do with our news cycles, and that's why I'm pretty happy that Facebook's falling apart.
But that's the process that he follows. Is that like I'll decide on what the outcome of this is later, but right now this is what I'm going to do.
Are you talking about Trump right now?
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know. I think he's a little more methodical than that. Dude, he ran a campaign where he paid like what, 80 million compared to 2 billion. The DNC paid like 2 million.
Well, that's because
Anderson Cooper
I'll take
basically
a quarter
gave
of that
him
and I'll be
free-
happy.
I think Anderson Cooper alone gave him $100 million worth of
any ads that were run by local
10%
people.
of it.
He didn't pay for ad time.
Yeah, neither did Bernie. And Bernie was arguably more.
1% final offer.
1%.
It was a shock to me, and I mean, you can go back and we have it. You remember, Steve-O? We have that shit on.
Throw it out there. What you talking about?
Election night.
Oh,
We
yeah.
did election night coverage, and it fell silent at one point in the whole room. We were all just like,
we were in the room
my
with
God.
Fred.
Like, I can't believe that this is happening
You know what
right
I was
now.
listening to? I was listening to Bill Burr and
I
Joe
was
Rogan. And
I was
they
speaking.
had this podcast. You should go back and listen to it. It's hilarious. They did a live thing in front of an audience, and they did the same way y'all did. They just podcasted the whole time. It's hilarious because everybody just thought they were going to win.
Yeah.
This is not
Everybody thought that the DNC was winning. Like,
Yeah.
there was no way that Hillary.
Yeah,
was.
yeah. There
It was
was
90% up until like
I couldn't believe that.
10 o'clock p.m. that night.
Yeah, it was crazy sauce.
Check this out.
And-
Hey, dude, like, we already had the technology long time ago, get rid of anybody we wanted, Kim Jong-il, whatever. We got the Hubble telescope. You focus that shit, turn it backwards, focus it on the Earth.
Whoa, dude, are you talking about turning a microscope and a telescope into a magnifying glass and just
Lasers, bro.
just like ant burning some people?
If you're telling me...
The Hubble telescope is GoldenEye, everybody. Just so you know.
That's why the government put that telescope up there. That son of a bitch, he's gone.
Well, and on the conspiratorial note this evening in the news, as Steve brings up such things, is the Google automated car in Arizona.
Oh, that was Uber.
Uber. Sorry, Uber. The Uber automated car.
So we know the answer to the Uber car if there was six. What was it? 6 young children on a.
There's
and one old fat man.
there's
And you had to choose a
let's all do something real quick. We'll take a show of hands, even though there is no video. Raise your hand if you have used Uber.
Well, nobody's going to see my
I've used
hand.
Uber.
Have you used
I've
Uber?
used it.
Okay, all right, yeah. So we've all used Uber amongst this show
Fair count? I tried fair.
at least once. I remember Julie's complaints all of a year or so ago about the extraordinarily huge amount that it costs to get a Uber from ACL.
Jeez, it was
There you go, capitalism.
I think it was South by.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
was
it may have been.
Nice because
You weren't going far, I remember, and it was like $70 or something, right? It was like,
Coming from
Yeah,
the
it was
Kenny
like
background, I never
over
trusted
$100.
and it
Yeah.
was like a couple blocks or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It was insane.
Well-
It was insane, dude.
And they've had all kinds of things. Of course, they've had breaches. They've had data breaches. They had the issues where drivers were able to stalk people after they got out of the car, and that was happening. That was happening with celebrities, things like that. But the latest thing is, of course, the automated Ubers. The fact that you will be able to call a robotic car to come pick you up and take you to your location, sans driver.
This one had a human person in it that could have taken over the controls, though. So, like, is it at that point still 100% the automated car's fault, or maybe should the person have been paying better attention?
Well,
Whoa.
and that's the thing is that, number one, sure, you can be paying attention, but it's going to take a minute for it to get out, or not a minute maybe, but it's going to take a few seconds for it to get out of automated mode.
Does it, or can you just hit the brake and it'll break?
No, I don't think it's just going to be...
Damn, Chris, you know what?
I mean,
in this day
you
of
could
technology,
probably
you would
hit the
think
brake
it'd
and
be
you'd
automatic,
brake,
you know?
but that
As soon
doesn't
as you hit
necessarily mean you're not going to hit the person in the,
like yours and my
in
Leslie
the
taking
walkway
time.
in front of you
I
instead
know,
of
totally, but
instead
then
of
is it
hitting
really
the car next to you.
just the automatic car's fault? Like, people hit so many pedestrians all the time.
Right.
One automated car hit one pedestrian. Are we going to throw the baby out with the bathwater?
Well,
That
we aren't
fault-
going to throw the baby out with the bathwater right now, but it's definitely one of those situations amongst. And I know Chris works the same conferences I work. He works insurance conferences and stuff. Automated driving and drones are two things that they talk about consistently.
Oh, this is the future. That's all they want to talk about.
yeah.
It's the future.
Well, looking too, I just looked at the updated story about this Uber driver, and now it's come out that she was walking her bike, and then she jumped in front of the car at the last second, and it would have been very difficult for anybody to avoid this collision. So I have to
Okay.
imagine, like, braking.
She jumped, or
is
she like erratically
braking.
walked into the street. There's a difference.
Like, she
between-
erratically got, like, it might have been intentional. They saw a video, she's walking her bike, and then she left her bike, and she kind of got right in front of the car.
That's
How
like
bad
a
was
Black
she hurt?
Mirror episode. Y'all remember that Black Mirror
Yeah.
episode where
Uh-huh.
it's the delivery truck
Yeah.
runs over the dude, and she had just murdered somebody in her like her motel room, and they got the app that she uses to get into people's heads, and she said, "Don't worry, I won't see anything you did that night
Yeah.
except for the accident." See, that's where we're headed.
Oh, shit, my ass.
That's some deep stuff
I
we're
mean,
headed
if
to.
that is the case, then...
Well, if that's the case, then why aren't they blaming the driver who was supposed to be paying attention as a test? Like,
Yeah.
you're not
that.
paying. You're not just
Well,
there
this
to
is
like
totally
sit in
breaking,
the
like,
car.
just came out a couple hours ago, this new information.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to
But
know.
even
Thank
no
you
matter
for
what
the
happened,
update.
is the driver should have been the first person blamed.
Right. Driver's fault if there's a driver.
If there's a
involved.
driver behind the wheel, absolutely.
Well, then they weren't
If
doing
it's
their job.
fully
No, there was a
But
driver.
also,
It was occupied.
If the car is traveling at
But it was in
a
automatic
reasonable
mode.
speed and somebody jumps in front of your car, the most experienced driver in the world could have been driving. A car doesn't stop immediately. There's still drag
Exactly.
time.
Yeah,
But you don't put
yeah.
out news stories all day, every day, blaming a
Right.
company. You say, "Oh, that driver, he might get charged with manslaughter, but it looks like an accident, so he probably won't."
Right.
So
Exactly.
the point is
And I
Uber's not
like-
at fault in this one. And
Julie,
if I was
did
the
she
judge,
raise
I
it?
would slam the gavel down and I
Oh,
would
Jesus
say,
Christ, okay.
"I hate Uber, but they're not responsible."
I was
It
thinking
obviously.
that's
doesn't seem like they are. I'm sure they're going to keep investigating.
Even though I
but it
hate
seems
Uber,
like
I think Uber's an
sometimes-
evil company.
Yeah,
I think they
Uber needs to
deserve
pay
to
their
fall.
people.
I would actually, and this is just of course playing devil's advocate, but
It's all a new
I
frontier.
would want to see when the object was detected, how long it took to stop, and if there was a situation such as swerving into the vehicle next to
And
you.
you know why you won't see any of that? Is because
talking
our,
about-
our
yeah.
news cycle doesn't work that way. Truth is not a thing
Yeah,
that matters. It matters that we're
Yeah,
talking
but
on a
it's-
podcast about
but
Uber
But
killing
it's,
somebody.
however, in an insurance
That's
situation, in the fact of like what we need to get from this as far as
Yeah, but we know
experience
that
to extrapolate.
Currently, you can destroy a company just by saying,
Oh, well,
Amanda
sure.
got her ass slapped by Steve, and that whole country can be. No, I'm sorry, Steve. I didn't mean to say that. I mean,
Hey, I like it though.
Any
Oh,
random
Amanda.
name.
We'll
You
slap
know what I'm saying?
country's ass.
Steve wants
could
to
just-
know who Amanda is and where he can
Right.
find her.
I'm just saying the point is,
Is
you
Amanda
live in
hot?
a world. We live in a world
She
where a
hot?
country can
That's
be
the question.
destroyed by words, and so
Yeah.
truth doesn't matter. So the point
Does
is
she consent?
that
Does
story
she like
doesn't
my
need to know.
music? Does she
Yeah.
consent?
Well, and quite honestly, there was the story from Popular Science that we posted this last week talking about just the concept of truth and how we deal with it nowadays, and the whole concept of what we talk about on this show all the time, cognitive dissonance.
Yeah,
the
I've heard
fact
the term
that,
a lot, and I've said it too. About my truth. You ever heard that?
Yeah, yeah.
And people, there's like
But,
there's a thing where it's like,
no.
there's no such thing as my truth.
No, there's no such thing
There's
as
only
my
the
truth.
truth, and there's the untruth.
There's
no
there's
my
only
truth.
there's only truth which
You meant
is
my
based upon
experience. You
fact.
meant my anecdotal experience, right?
And my anecdotal experience is different
Truth is.
than truth. What was that, Steve?
You guys are having a hard time finding what truth is.
Exactly. I think we all are, right?
Well, I mean, you have to define what is first.
Take
Exactly.
that
There you
3
go.
tons of
So,
acid
yeah.
hidden under your chair, and let's take
Yeah.
a ride.
But
My perspective.
But for me, whenever it comes down to the fact, because not too long ago, it was all about 2-3 weeks before I went to Vegas at the beginning of the year, that like the first automated bus in Vegas got into a car accident by not being able to obey the rules of a 4-way stop. And
That's fucked up.
this is something that, you know, like, I mean, hey, I assume the fact you have a driving son right now, Julie.
I do.
I assume Liam. Do you mind if I use Liam's name on air?
No, he's fine.
Okay, shout out Liam, because I know you're a listener. Actually,
Also, Liam really wants people to follow him at Liam_Connolly on Twitter. He really wants
mad
people to follow
shout
him.
outs.
So if you're listening, you want to follow a really funny 16-year-old, you can find him at Twitter.
He's a pretty dope kid. I'll tell you
Really
this,
funny.
ladies and gentlemen. There are few people other than my actual blood family that I trust with my child, other than Julie, Stephen, and Liam.
Liam loves your baby almost as much as I do.
He's a pretty dope baby. I'm not gonna lie. Any baby that can give you the rock look,
You didn't know I'd try
they'll
out
straight up
Motown.
give you the tilted eyebrow, like, you smell what I'm cooking?
Anywho, Liam's the new driver.
Yeah, and you know, even taking that into consideration, like, that's one of the first things that you learn is the rules of a 4-way stop. You know, it's whoever was there first.
To be fair, you're
Something
literally
like that,
putting
yeah.
something stronger. Like, let's put this into perspective, and let's take it off the rails a little bit, if you will.
Okay, do it.
You're literally putting a machine that is more dangerous than a gun, a bowling ball falling from heaven. Give me anything. You're putting, like, rocks. There's nothing more dangerous than a car. A car is more dangerous than 5 guns in your hands. Like, you're literally
It's a
putting
ton
into
of moving metal.
16-year-old kids. I'm not saying you're.
You got several tons of metal.
No,
Even when I was
Here's
My
my
point is
Okay.
like that is the most dangerous thing you could do, and this is
Right.
this is one of the problems with our culture here in America is we're literally putting these like rolling bombs in people's hands, and
Right.
that's the most people like we're talking about everything, but most people in our country, I think, like car accidents rank them number 2 or number 1 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty high up there.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I don't know if we can blame Uber for this one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just think.
Well, it's
You blame
not
the
necessarily
driver.
Uber,
Another
but is
article,
it the AI?
it doesn't seem like-
Especially when it's in automatic mode, it should
I
be
don't
able
know.
to detect these obstacles.
This is like
We
another
keep
philosophical
exploring
discussion.
AI.
So, like, if an obstacle, because the way that and I read another article, I swear I'm paying attention. You guys are talking, but
Yeah.
We got
the
ourselves a
the
reader.
cyclist was on a median, like in the middle of the road, kind of like walking down.
Oh, you
and
mean
it
a
was
bike
really
lane?
No,
dark,
it's not the median.
And then so she went from in like the total darkness in a bike lane, and then like jetted right in front of a moving car.
in a bike
I don't think
lane,
anybody could. I don't see how that could be avoided.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, you could really think kind of philosophically about this AI. You know, is that what people are scared about? They're scared about like artificial intelligence taking over our lives and being the decision makers. So it's what I was saying before about, you know, what's that thing that it's the purity test that people say they do when they're like, okay, you got an old fat man on one side
Right,
of
the
the
trolley
tracks,
car test.
and you got 6 babies on the other, and you have to make a decision on who has to die because that
Right.
train is out of control and you have to hit the switch. Right? Is that what we're talking about? That you're given, like, what's the algorithm for that? Who does?
Yeah.
Is the fat man who makes money and pays taxes, or the 6 kids who've done nothing for the planet?
I see.
You know what I
'Cause
mean?
I was going to say that fat man.
Yeah, I would say the fat man,
what
but
you wanna do,
Three of
so
the kids
obviously
and the
try
fat man
to
walks off with one
not
leg.
give
No,
a you.
I mean,
That's my decision.
it's a philosophical discussion, right? Because you're killing a proven provider and a proven like person that produces, and you're proving versus the unproven possibility.
Versus
They
the
could all die of
potentiality of
malaria
6
tomorrow.
people.
They could all
Why wouldn't you leave humanity to make a decision upon itself?
Because it's
and
already on
leave
the
it
tracks.
Well, that would be like not AI, like a
trust in
human
something.
person.
Oh,
Would
Steve,
you just touched
Steve.
on the apple.
You
can't do
just
that,
went
Steve.
into 102,
You
bro.
can't do that. You just touched on the apple, the tree
Oh.
of knowledge. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did
It's the
I?
wormhole.
Because I thought I was just drinking and like had just an epiphany.
But yeah,
Oh no, that's even the right word for
You
it.
could do the wormhole thing on that one though,
What
because
the-
you say, why can't we
That's-
just let the universe take over? Well, because you already made the decision. You bit from the apple of knowledge, from the tree of knowledge. You ate the apple, which therefore means you hold the Pandora's box of knowledge, which means you have to make this decision. So you can't get out. You
Even
can't get out.
throw his hands up and
Not
say,
only
Right.
that,
take the,
it
make
also
a
means
decision.
you're now
That's
responsible
true. You got a
for the
point there, Joey.
decision.
Yeah.
You're now responsible and accountable for that decision.
Well, does that mean the parent that gave the 16-year-old the car, that's their fault? Right?
A little
If
bit.
the-
I mean, that's why parents
an
carry
extent.
insurance.
that's
to an
true.
extent.
That's true.
Yeah.
No,
And
definitely.
there's
I
some
mean,
culpability
I
in
had
there.
my mom gave my son a car recently, and I sold it because it was not a safe car. So yes, parents do have responsibility. She gave him a '98 BMW
Oh, yeah.
Roadster, and it was
And,
fucking awesome.
you know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very proud of you guys.
So I got a
for-
Fiesta instead.
Yeah. No, I'm very. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you guys for doing that. I can't even tell you that.
Honestly, I would.
I can't even tell you how proud I am because it's
hard.
hard to make that decision. I mean, you know, your parents gave your kid a car, but it's one of those like, is that what a kid really needs for a first car?
No, it's not. And I totally respect you, Chris, saying you
Thank
didn't
you.
want to, you're not going to give your kid a car, but my kid is busy 5 days a week, and I am
That's
tired
not-
of
no,
driving
I'm
him
not-
around.
I'll give my kid a car. What the heck you think that like 1997 Dodge pickup truck is doing in my
I
driveway?
think she's referring to. I think
That's
she's referring to Chris Head over here.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's gonna eat it when he gets 16, but hey, guess what?
I followed it up, Julie, by saying that I
That's
might.
so badass,
Yeah.
dude.
I can't hear you, sorry.
No, I think I followed that up in the middle of our melee of talking that I actually might, because I say things and sometimes I do the opposite of what I say. But I would say that I'm a hypocrite, aren't we all?
he's
I'm
a
gonna
man
die.
of nothing.
I'm going to die really soon, and it's probably within the next 40 years, and it's not very far away, so I can admit that at least. But
Yeah.
the point is I'm a hypocrite. But I think kids, I think they should work for it. I think that
Yeah.
I think there's a quote. It's called soft men breed hard times.
Yes.
Did you ever heard that
That's
quote?
awesome.
It gives me goosebumps to think
Yeah.
about it. Because if you take care of if you just do too much and just take too much care, not that you shouldn't take care of your kids, but if you do too much, you get a hard road ahead because that's going to affect the future of our society. And I hate to keep getting dark every time we get on
Yeah.
the
No,
subject and
you're
start
totally
laughing.
right. But
It's
there's
true.
monetary making him do stuff, and there's other making him do stuff. Like,
Yeah.
There you
we
go.
make Liam volunteer and
Sure.
help out, and he's busy all the time. But
Right.
he doesn't have time to also have a job. Like, he barely does his homework because he's so busy. So
Yeah.
it helps me for him to have a car. And it's
That's
not a
good.
nice car.
Oh,
It's 2000.
absolutely. And you know, mine was the situation of I remember having a Chevron card, and I paid for my card at the end of the month, and I paid for my car insurance. My car was a hand-me-down. My brother had the '87 Taurus that my dad had, that was his company car for Cooper Tire. And by the time he got it, it had about 175,000 miles on it. And by
Oh,
the
damn,
time,
it's just
by the
broken
time
in.
I got it from my brother, it had about 225,000 miles on
That's
it.
crazy. Yeah, I think Liam says
And
about
that
120,000.
'87 Taurus was my baby.
My first
Like,
car was a Buick Regal.
Hey, how many miles did that have on it?
like
And he has to pay for his own gas, too.
exactly, and that's just
Yeah.
it. Like I had a card so that I didn't have to worry about gas, but I had a job. I sat groceries at Randall's, man. Like, You
Yeah,
know, at
right.
the end of the month, bill came due. Here's what your gas was.
If
You
I had
know,
a kid
and
in
I
this
paid
day and
for my
age, I would give him a
insurance,
car,
'cause
and it
the
would
car was
be
paid for.
a beater upper. You know, like it
Yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah, you because
Yeah.
it's not the fact that hey, I don't love you.
But I just
or
also
yada,
wanted to be
yada.
safe. That's how he ended up with
That-
Brian's old car instead
Yeah,
of
not only
BMW.
that,
Yeah.
but it's like, hey, I know you're gonna be bumping into shit. So before you get that good one, you gotta,
Right?
you gotta learn how to drive, bro.
God,
So,
I
yeah.
let my niece
So I'm gonna
borrow-
expect these phone calls. I'm gonna
You
expect
know
this
you're going to
phone
hit
call.
at least a curve a week.
Yeah,
Like,
Well,
I
you know
know
what they're saying though. They're saying that kids that are born like now, like they're saying your kid, Chris, they won't drive cars.
No.
They're not going to be driving cars.
No,
This is the last
exactly.
generation to drive cars.
And that's the exact point that I'm talking about is the fact that once singularity, once these things start happening, we're
He's
talking
about the
about
singularity
automatic
right now.
vehicle. No,
Is that
it's
the
just
singularity?
that we're
With
talking
cars?
about automatic vehicles. We're
Amsterdam.
talking about the
We're-
fact that you won't have to think about it. You just get in the car and say, "Hey, Johnny Cab,
So why
this
should we
is
hold
where
it
I'm
back?
going."
Why would we hold it back? Like if we're talking about the moment of singularity, then fuck it. Let's let it go.
Yeah.
One
I like
person
how this-
died, no big deal. One person died, no big deal. Come on, let it go.
No,
I would rather have
no,
more.
no,
Listen,
no.
listen.
See,
Hear
here's
me
the
out,
thing.
Hear me out. Hear me
It's
out.
not
Correct.
that one person died, Chris. It's that the
I
first
know.
person
Hear
died.
me out, though. Hear me out.
People have done
We
it.
could
Planes still fly. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I
We're
understand
gonna keep
that.
Yeah.
moving forward.
Whoa.
Planes
Good
have been
point,
flying
Julie.
themselves for
Adam is
15 years
playing.
now. Yeah.
They basically do fly themselves. So
Oh,
literally,
Jesus.
it
You're
really
right.
just sits in the cockpit.
I personally know pilots for like
Jesus.
major airlines. So yeah, they do. Like once you're in the air, you're on autopilot until a certain point,
So
and
that's
then
my
you take
point.
off.
Like, really.
And they
I
tell
mean,
me
we-
that shit before.
Look, we already let the.
There are not
we already
nearly
let-
as many obstacles at
Just
15,000
let it go,
feet.
guys. Just let it go. We already let artificial intelligence and algorithms choose our last president. Why don't we just take it? Just, let it go. Just lay down and take it. Just take it.
I'm no longer part of the algorithms. Should rule us all. You're right. Sometimes they call us
Julie suddenly left the algorithm family.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, no
figured
more
she would be on- I
algorithm.
figured she would be on board
like
with that.
choose
Screw the algorithm.
not be
Like a tanappy.
the human rectal polyp.
Oh my goodness. There's a surgeon that can take care of that.
Right.
Mm.
Call that.
We do not
Democrat-
advocate violence on the Dudes and Beer podcast.
But we do advocate,
surgeon
we do
for
advocate
Democrat
surgery.
process.
was
We
that?
do absolutely advocate the democratic process
We
in the
advocate
republic that is America.
Take away the rectal polyp.
Do you advocate the Democrats process or the Democratic process? 'Cause
Democratic.
I'd like to know. I know that I've had
Process.
conversations. I know I've had conversations with Julie on Facebook.
Me personally, I'm a raving leftist Democrat.
Oh,
But
she's
Chris
got a
just-
donkey on her
Are
arm.
you a donkey? Are you? Hold on, Julie. I have to have this.
I've tried to
conversation with you.
convince her to put a windmill and a donkey hoodie on it.
I want to have
That
this
kind
conversation. I want to talk
that?
to Julie about this for a second. Julie, are you a raging Democrat or like you're a Jimmy Dore Democrat? That's what I want to know. I feel like
I
you're a
am-
Jimmy Dore Democrat, but I feel like you're based on our arguments on Facebook because we've had a few. I
Have?
feel like I think we have. Do you not remember?
Discussions.
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 There weren't really arguments. I don't think. I think we've talked about some things, but
Yeah.
I feel like you're more of a Jimmy Dore Democrat. But your allegiance to the party is heavy, so you can't not be a full Democrat. Because I don't think the Democrats. I think the progressives are better in a way.
Oh no, I'm definitely more progressive than like old school
Yeah.
Democrat.
Yeah.
Like I was Team Bernie until it came down to it, and then of course I went Hillary because Bernie was out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, you were okay with that? Because I was Team
Well,
Bernie.
that's tough.
and
Well, what
as
can
soon
you
as-
do? I didn't want fucking Trump to win.
I wanted. You know what I did? I wanted Trump to win just to spite Hillary. I hate to say that.
Yeah, you like
I
that?
hate
Is
it.
that working out well for you?
It
I mean,
seems
so
to be
far, kind of it
far.
is, 'cause I
Actually,
have a
so
lot of
far,
money
it's pretty
in
fucking
stock markets,
good. To
but I
be
don't
honest
wanna
with
talk
you. So far, it's not bad. To be honest with you, it's not as bad. Besides people calling like my friends Nazis and like, trying to, besides that, it's not so bad. I'm not a Trump supporter, so
Friends
you know.
Nazis, though.
And see, I was one of those that was a Bernie supporter.
I'm a Bernie supporter
until he put a D behind his name. It was like you completely dropped the independent.
Because I felt like
and you can go back and
life into the Democratic Party, which
absolutely, but you can go back and listen to episodes of Dudes and Beer.
Wait, they both did it though. Remember, let's think about this. Bernie did it and lost, and Trump did it and won. Because Trump's actually Democrat. So I want y'all to remember.
Sometimes that comes out, and I'm like, all right, he's doing something normal and liberal, and then I'm like, oh, and then here's 97 inexplicable things that he's doing.
But here, Chris and I, Julie, I want you to say, I want to ask you if you agree with me. Chris and I have been talking about this the last couple of days. My theory, and I've laid it out in almost an Excel spreadsheet fashion to Chris, that Trump was actually left of Hillary the whole campaign until she decided to go completely to the left of Bernie, and then that made Trump center right. So Hillary moved all the way from the to the right of Trump to the far left after Bernie got pushed out. Because Trump, you have to remember, Trump
always started he started from the beginning with the immigration and some people are probably fine, but most of them are rapists, and that's not Democrat.
Yeah.
Well, no, honestly, I think Bill Clinton said the same thing in not so harsh of terms, but we don't have to bicker over that.
Well, the Democratic Party though now is becoming a lot more liberal than it was in the 90s.
Yeah, they should be really careful about that.
And that's the part that I bring up all the time and that's right when I lost heart with Bernie was the fact that he dropped the I, became a D, and then the Democratic National Convention happened, and watching PBS, she literally went on Face the Nation and was is that it, Face the Nation?
Yeah, I think that's the one that she went on.
But
with
just
him,
before,
right? And so he threw support to her.
But was talking about the fact that the Democratic Party has been the party of the center left for years, and they've had the center, but now with Bernie they have the left. And it was wait a minute, did you just totally absorb an independent candidate in order to call their vote?
They didn't need the left. What they needed was the far
Who's that guy that starts with the P that's in her cabinet? What's his name?
Democrats didn't need the far left.
Absolutely.
They needed the far right. Because here's what you have. The far
just
right becomes almost
a little bit.
Well, what happens in political spectrum is the far right, your Ron Pauls, your Rand Pauls, your Gary Johnsons, they are far right, but that means they're far left at the same time.
I'm with
so
you.
they didn't get the Gary Johnsons.
The issue is I challenge you from any time from gubernatorial race to senatorial race to presidential race to find anybody that survived the Clinton war machine.
Yeah, and all the people that they've murdered.
But never mind the people that they murdered. We don't know about that. We don't know about that. You go pee, Julie. But it is the fact that they have a certain way of campaigning and a way of doing things that stretches things beyond. And
but my point is,
you're hard pressed to pass it.
Hey guys, check this out. I got one that'll throw a curveball at you. Hey, who's that guy? I'm gonna throw this out because Julie ain't in the room. But the guy that's in her cabinet with the Pizzagate shit and all that. But that's not what I'm getting at. But I'm trying to rember his name. But
you know some facts, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we don't. We have no idea what the hell you're talking about, Steve-O.
He's yeah, you do. But yeah, it starts
Seth
with a
Rich?
P. I want to say it starts with a P, but I could be wrong right now. But anyways, yeah, no, not Seth. But anyways, he's part of the push of the UFO disclosure. And could that be a part?
About the old guitarist of that punk rock band that was on Joe Rogan not too long ago? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Here, think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. I want to
check this out. Check this out.
I'll let you think on that for a second, but I want to tell you what happened, and I want to just clear up the election. The reason why Trump won is because Hillary Clinton specifically targeted white men and made them evil. She specifically targeted Bernie bros and made them other
Yeah.
And if you call somebody a Bernie bro, bro is a negative connotation.
Yeah.
You call them Bernie bros. That means they didn't vote or they voted for Trump. Because Trump actually represented a lot of what Bernie represented, and it's not saying the two are the same. But what they did miss out on is that Trump represented more of the libertarian values, and they killed all of the Gary Johnsons, all of the Rand Pauls, by calling Bernie bros, and without any reason to do that. And that means they took all the far right, which is what libertarians tend to be. They're so far right that they're left because they don't believe in government control of your body and blah, blah, blah. They don't believe in the government telling you what to do. They believe in smaller government than Republicans.
They're not left, though. They don't quite go full circle because I have
Yeah, I know,
zero in
but
common with the Libertarian Party.
Yes, you have a lot in common. Do you believe in abortion? Do you believe that women should have the right to choose over their body?
Yeah, I do, but I think the federal government should just, like, be cool and make that a thing, and that the
You know
states
what
should just
libertarians
follow.
would do? You know what libertarians would do? They would say, okay, go ahead, have an abortion. That's your business. But they would also say, we're not going to
But
pay
they
for
can
it.
say whatever they want, unless it's, like, actually protected or mandated, it's not going to happen.
Well, yeah,
we're talking
but
about ideals. We're not talking about
but,
reality.
yeah,
Of course,
but like-
laws-
Right,
Like
I like
Chris
to do
said-
in reality, which I think is why I'm never going to be a libertarian.
well,
Well,
yeah,
come
but
on, be
it's
a
the
Democrat.
fact. It's the fact of you can have an abortion, but
Okay.
much like Chelsea Manning, that is an elective surgery.
So, Julie, I have to ask you a question. Who came up with the concept of gelling most of the population of poor Black Americans in the United States of America? It was LBJ, and that was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton incarcerated almost a full
Oh,
The
Jay
three
Lane.
strike.
entire. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well-
we're talking about ideals here. We're not talking about reality. Because if you talk about reality, the reality is Democrats are far worse, if not 10 times worse, than the far right. But
well,
my
I mean,
point
he
is,
definitely
we're talking
came
about
up
ideals
with the
here.
3 strikes policy.
The 3 strikes policy in California
Yes,
is still
that
fucking
was-
people over.
Yeah.
It's
Still
happening in
terrible.
California.
Yeah, people make mistakes.
Of course
They
they
do.
make mistakes. They should be able to come out, and they should be able to eventually be able to vote. They should be able to get jobs. But a murderer should never be around my child, unless I vet him personally. A rapist should never be around my child. So there should
Yeah,
be
even
things
if I
in
met him
place.
personally, I would say that a
Right.
rapist should never be
Yeah.
around your
Yeah,
child.
exactly. Well, that's why I didn't say anything.
And
after that.
tigers don't change their yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't change that because
Grrr.
don't make me choke a motherfucker out because I will.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm there with you. We have that in common. I would definitely choke out a rapist.
Yeah.
So like I just, but I want to strike this home. I want to hit this home that the reason why, because I don't know if you were listening, Julie. The reason why that Hillary won is because she called out Bernie Bros. She called them Bernie Bros, and she killed the possibility of having any Gary Johnson fans or any Rand Paul fans by doing that. She made
Yeah.
them others. She made them
Yeah.
not
That
vote,
sucks.
and she's still doing it today. Do you watch?
I know,
don't even why we're
I
talking
know,
about Hillary
I
Clinton.
know.
It's
I
such
know.
a
One of
great subject to
the
talk
one of the
about.
articles that we posted this week was her even apologizing about the fact
but
that
she didn't
The
apologize.
Democratic Party handed Trump this election. It was
Oh,
awful.
absolutely. It was
They
horrifying.
didn't think that there was any competition. They didn't
Look.
think there was any reason to fight for it. And then they also created so much infighting.
When she conceded,
But I
wasn't it?
also kind of wonder if Bernie Bros, the original, like, because I know Hillary
Yeah.
Clinton used it and ran with it,
That's not
but
a
I
real
wonder
thing.
if that didn't, like, come from Russia also.
No, I mean, unless she's an idiot and she would just repeat everything Russia says. which
Well,
makes her culpable.
you know, whenever you're talking about the stuff on big media, the stuff on social media,
I would
the
never
stuff,
concede.
the stuff from bots, things like that.
go down with the
Absolutely. Like, I mean,
Well, that's the
just
thing,
think.
'cause they said that
Just think
Russia
about what was the
campaigned for
name.
Trump, Bernie.
What was the name of the Twitter bot that
What do you
went
mean
crazy?
we say Russia? Can we get that out there? What do
Oh,
we
like
mean when we say
the part
Russia?
of Russia
Like the
that
13
was
people that were running for a
colluding with
Russian
the
agency?
social media, the bots.
Yeah, well, they were real people. There
This
was
is like
13
hearsay
people.
now
Yeah.
because this is like
There's 13
nothing that we
people.
can prove.
We
Yeah.
do that too. There's people right now writing articles trying to influence the Russian politics. I'll arguably say that Russia now, RN, what is it called? RT?
Yeah.
They're probably more what's it called? They're more truthful than our news sources. Like, our news sources are the bots. If I go on RT, I can actually read an article, like a normal article, like
It came out 3 years ago that
You
they
can't read a
have
Vice
news
article
bots
that doesn't
that
have a
write
leading.
articles.
Show me a Vice article, an independent article, a CNN article, an MSNBC article that doesn't have a lean to it. I mean, and I'm not even talking about Mother Jones
True.
or Salon.
Everybody's going to have a lean to their own view.
Right, but I think you can kind of disseminate the information
Yeah.
from it and figure out what actually is happening.
That's
So in a
'cause
way,
you're
it ain't
smart.
that propaganda.
You're smart.
If it
Those
leans
people
towards
aren't
the way
smart.
that you,
That's-
you know.
You're smart. Most people aren't smart. They work a job that they hate.
Yeah.
They're a dishwasher, or they're like a fucking. Like
Right.
most of these.
That's what we have to consider. Is
I should hate this person, but in a way, I'm seeing that, and it's like, wait, why am I hating this person? I don't hate this person.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
if it
hating
starts
this
to make
person
you,
'cause
like,
I'm
you
being
read
told
it
I
and
hate
you
this
feel some
person.
sort of an emotional
Yeah.
connection to it. Like
Yeah.
you got to kind of step back and be
Yeah.
like, why do
I'm
I
being
have this
told
emotional
to,
connection?
but
What are the
I
actual
kind of
just
like
facts
this,
of it?
actually.
Like,
I think they have a good point. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, I mean, and it's the problem with our news cycle is what we talked about earlier. Is
Yeah.
you have a situation
like even with the bombers, that they thought that it was racially motivated at
Yeah,
first.
exactly,
They were, like,
exactly.
crazy about
Why not?
it, and now it just seems like a random fuckwad who's just trying to blow shit
Yeah,
up. But
yeah.
this is fun.
I think
that's
it's going
just
to create
it. If it was-
a
if-
really
if
big
it was
distortion
racially
in divide,
motivated.
but racially motivated, trying to get the two sides to clash and cause a huge scene between two sides or as many sides as whatever that cause any kind of divide. And it's going, it's like, to me, that's his motivation. And it's
Well,
it's people
be.
like
We
I
that.
don't
No,
think
no,
that's
no.
his motivation. I think that's the media's motivation.
I agree
Because
with
even
you
like
there.
when they caught
Exactly,
the
Julie.
South by like the
Exactly.
fake
Right.
bomber guy,
But he
some
knows the
person
media's
on
motivation.
my Facebook
'Cause-
page messaged or put on my Facebook thing that because I was like, I hope they catch this sucker
Right.
with my post. And then this guy, Aaron, was like, they caught him. He wasn't
Right.
white like you thought. He was some cholo.
Right.
And I was like, I don't care what race he is. I just
There
hope
you
they
go.
fucking caught
Right.
him.
Right.
And then, of course, we
Right.
find out that was not the actual bomber.
And I
That
keep
was just the
hearing
jackass. But
It's
Yeah.
prominent black people. It's a 75-year-old Hispanic lady and stuff like that. And it's like, cool.
yeah, at the beginning it was. So
I mean,
it
not
seems
cool,
like it could
but
maybe go that
at the
route,
same time,
but-
it's like, yes, I know who they are or whatnot. But to me, it's the matter of fact that they're human beings. You're affecting people like me.
Well, and there's just doesn't seem to be a
Well,
rhyme
yeah.
or reason
Yeah.
to it.
Well, we
all,
don't
like
have-
regardless.
We don't have
know.
the capability to think like you, Steve, and unfortunately, I mean, we as a country, and what people want to do is they want to revel in that. I had friends on Facebook doing the same thing. They were like, well, it's obviously that white supremacists are still targeting black people, and they're still blah. They just went on about this being a huge thing, and I even told a couple people I got in trouble because I was like, look, y'all don't even really know what's going on. Like, you need to
Right,
stop
wait
with this
until you
because you can
catch
cause a
them.
lot of issues. Like this could ripple throughout society, and riots can happen, and people get hurt really fast based on like misinformation. And
I
now-
hope they catch him alive.
Totally
I hope
agree
they
on
do
that
too,
one.
and bring him to the city
Yeah.
center, and let's have at him. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
No, I
Here's-
just want to
here's
hear
the thing.
like his
Here's what I
fucked up
don't want.
version of it. Like I
Here's-
loved that Jeffrey Dahmer
here's what-
documentary. Like I just want to
here's-
hear his bizarre
Okay,
rationale for it.
but here's what I don't want, and we've talked about this before, Steve-O. You and
Right.
I remember the night that the Dallas shootings happened with the
Oh,
Dallas
oh, yeah.
police.
Here's something else we don't talk
and
about.
and Steven came to my he called me and he's like, dude, did you hear about this? I'm like, I'm up watching this. Come to my house right now. And
Right.
we sat there and we watched the entirety of what was going on with the Dallas police, where they had this dude cornered in a parking
They
Yeah.
blew
structure.
him up with a
Gosh, that was-
bomb.
Right.
And they literally
Right.
brought in
Yep.
a robot with
Yep.
a freaking grenade and just killed him.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it was
that
like,
was awful.
yo, wait a minute. You had him
And I thought they
surrounded
were-
by SWAT.
All it takes
This
is a
ain't
day.
Judge Dredd, bro. This ain't Judge
so
Dredd.
they were
Yeah.
trying just to take out the minimal loss of life, I think. But yeah, no, that was
that's a
crazy.
lie.
They could have
All
just
they gotta do
waited.
is keep
to
just
know.
wait till he falls asleep.
They
That fool
they
ain't gonna stay
get,
awake
yeah.
forever.
Like
At that point,
you know,
you got
you could
hostility
have
So
you could
you-
have
aggression.
sent in a
You got
robot
aggression
with
that
a
overrules
gas
the judgment.
grenade.
Right. But here's what you do.
The
Problem
Goodwill
is-
bombing, new update. It was a military ordnance incendiary device that they
Holy
don't think is
shit.
related.
See, that's what I was talking about earlier. Is some of this stuff is
why
not related.
I was thinking
Yeah.
I
from
don't
the
know what a
get-go.
military ordnance incendiary device is, but that sounds bad.
That's why I was thinking
Wow.
earlier.
No,
with the,
that
the
basically
first thing
sounds
up-
like a military
smoke
grade.
bomb,
That's
it
a
could be-
military grade flare.
It could be a flare. It could be anything. It
Oh,
could be a
military
box of
grade
matches
smoke
that has
bomb.
US
Yeah.
fucking military on it. USMC on it. It could be anything. All this news is so
I think
damn
it's
vague.
related.
I hate that our
But
news cycle
at the
is
same
vague.
time, as
Yeah.
like Chris was saying on judge, jury, and all that, it's like that was when it was like hey, bro, like, are we going to conform with this? Is this the way we're going to go from forth on? This isn't the way it should be. This is are we going to say anything about that? I mean, everybody's like, oh, yeah, he's dead. Great. But guess what? Didn't we violate all the codes and laws that we fucking set forth?
But we didn't even talk about it. We have not talked about those shootings hardly at all since.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of parades, and the police have been like, they buried the dead. But
we
never talked about it.
Yeah.
It's not about hard to keep up. We're still
all this other shit comes out.
Listen, we're still talking about Trayvon Martin to this day, and I think we should be. But the problem is we're not. We're still talking about all kinds of stuff that is not as important as what happened yesterday. We're not talking about the right stuff. You're being led, and and I'm telling people right now, and I get serious every time I start talking about this. You're being led into a civil war, and you're being led into something that you think that you support, but you will not be able to handle it, and you will be fighting against mercenaries coming from over the border from other countries, being paid by other countries to destroy your country, to take over your territory. I'm not being a fucking nihilist. I'm not being dark. I'm not being dystopian.
I hear you. I am team trying to move the fuck out of this country right now.
I'm not trying to move
Which
out.
might not be the best way to do it.
I'm not trying to move out. I'm trying to stay.
That's what I'm trying to do.
And I'm trying to keep the people that I stay with calm, and try to keep the people that I stay with here. Because I'm not trying to go anywhere else. I've lived other places. I've been deported from other countries. It's no better there than it is here. I can tell you that.
No, certainly not. But I don't think I would have such a vested interest in there.
Plus, you got an island like Johnny Depp.
Julie, much like my wife, has spent time abroad. We spent that beautiful semester in Rome.
Plus my mom owns a lot of property in Greece.
Greece and Italy are not two places you can be right now. Well, listen to me both. Yeah. Greece and Italy. If there's a war in America, Greece and Italy are the first two places to fall completely. I can promise you.
I don't want to go live in Greece. I'm just saying, like, I have not always lived here.
It's the fact of we've had the experience of living abroad. We've had the experience of seeing these different cultures, and we understand the difference between the two.
Sure. Yeah, I lived in Germany for many years.
Exactly.
I understand.
Exactly.
But interestingly, too, our guest next week is from Mexico. Lives in Guadalajara, and her dad is in Mexican politics. I can't remember what position he is.
Can't wait for this one.
Senator or whatever their equivalent is down there. And then just recently traveled the whole world doing a photo blog. But I was warning her about the serial bombers because she's coming to stay with me. Yeah. And she was like, dude, it's nothing compared to what we see on a TV.
Yeah, like you have no idea with Sinaloa and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I was with a girl, 5 years. She was born in Mexico, and it was like, so that's where I got a lot of my Spanish and learning Spanish a lot of time, whatever. And so, I knew a lot of that culture and stuff like that. So, there was kidnappings and all that Denzel Washington movie.
I was in Mexico. I lived there for 6 months when I was in high school, and my host family's
Man on Fire was called. Man on Fire.
Abducted while I was there the first time, and then got released while I was there the second time.
I mean,
like, that shit just happened.
Yeah,
Chris, what were you wanting to say?
No, I'll just say that speaking of just other countries and different cultures and how weird stuff can be. Like in Mexico, you'll see the guys with machine guns when you get into major cities. They're just sitting there, and the checkpoint is a guy with a machine gun. Yeah, three other guys with machine guns. Well, when I used to live in Berlin in the early 2000s. You would see these weird. I would see these juxtaposition, like these weird images. You'd see like a bunch of dudes with machine guns behind a row of like prostitutes with those fluffy hand muffs and those vests, those fluffy mink vests, in front of like a synagogue. Like that's the kind of shit you would see over there. It's like weird. You'd see like these. Those is the imagery, like right next to this burnout building that still was rebuilt from World War II. So I mean. Countries have seen some shit. People have seen some shit. Yeah. But I'm just telling people what the future of America holds, and it's not what people think it looks like. That's not what they. It's not what they think it is.
I agree.
It's a war that you're not going to win. It's not even a war that you're going to be. It's not even the war that you think you're fighting.
Yeah, it's not even a war that you're going to be involved in.
No.
Oh, you'll be involved because your family gets killed, and all of a sudden you pick up a gun and kill whoever you think is responsible. But you're
not think it's going to become a friggin' zombie apocalypse situation?
Here's my point: is
it going to be Walking Dead, bro?
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope not. Brian has told me so many times that if there is an apocalypse, he just wants to die immediately because he doesn't want to continue to like have to
Julie,
fight
if
for
you
survival.
need,
But I want to fight for my survival.
Okay,
but
here's the thing.
somewhere
Number
where
one,
there's
if you
safety.
need or want to learn skills for the zombie apocalypse, go to dudesandbeer.com/knowledge-vault. All right?
Heavy pudding that you need to take out your staircase.
Things down at
flip
the
your
bottom.
steps.
There are stairs down there that'll lead you down to some pages that teach you some great things about general survival rules and stuff like that. Other than that, Julie, I'd be happy to give you a personal course anytime.
I think I can do it. I watch a lot of TV.
You know, even like what's going on now.
Still pretty confident.
What's
I
going
don't
on?
take a lot of drugs because I don't take a lot of pills, but I have like a lot of shit happen to me. So people
hope
like
you're
I'm
not
always
taking a
being
lot of
prescribed.
pills.
Xanax is great. Now I'm just joking.
I like a lot of like painkillers and antibiotics.
We don't
and
talk
stuff.
about pills
Right.
on this show and taking pills.
But what?
Not recreationally, medicinally. I'm saying like
Yes.
when the world happens, I will have enough to sustain
That's
myself for like several years.
But what I wonder if
pharmaceutically.
people are smart enough to know that like all this shit that's going on now and stuff like that to me is it's always a divide.
Should
There's
we
always
start the Dudes and Beer monthly survival tip?
We
No.
should.
You
We
might have
should.
to.
No.
Where it's like hey
Hey,
everybody,
and-
just so you know, the same thing that you buy for ick for your fish
If
tank
the-
No.
is penicillin.
Okay,
Guys,
hold on.
we're
You get into a
done.
territory that's weird because you know Alex Jones already did that, and that's where people started.
No.
But they were building all the fucking
and
bunkers
we're
and
gonna be
shit.
fine.
If the last thing I have to say is this,
Then
and
we're
it's
gonna
gonna
be fine and just
We're
love each
gonna
other and be
great.
It's
Exactly.
and it should be, but no,
not true,
it's
though,
together we
Steve, I'm
stand,
sorry.
divided we fall.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because guess what? If this bomb blows up on,
I like that sigh in the background. Julie's sigh was perfect.
if we have this bomb blow up on 10 Africans' porches or places, it's all black Americans or whatever.
So for the final few minutes,
on
on the fact of utter annihilation, this Twitter
Aliens.
conspiracy, man,
Oh,
and
God.
aliens.
Fuck,
Oh my
aliens.
God! Like sincerely, and if you go through and follow go on to dudesandbeer.com, check out the news of the week, and you can follow it down. You'll find the Twitter voicemail conspiracy that went on. A very good friend of mine turned me on to this, and he's like, "Have you seen this?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I haven't." And then I went down this rabbit hole that was just like,
I'm
"Oh
sure you
my
did.
God!" And I was like, "Okay, hold on, I
read about it. I don't know.
gotta stop." Like I gotta Alt and Z. We gotta stop hard right now.
What was it actually?
Because I was like, number
Kind of
one,
propaganda
I
you
need
put
a
out there.
source. I was like, I need a source. I can't have Reddit. I can't have anything like that. I need a source. So the closest thing that I could find was iHeartMedia. iHeartMedia had an article about it. So, I mean, they're at least a credible, outlet.
No, they're not.
iHeartMedia.
iHeartMedia. That's the first
No,
one.
they're not.
That's the first one.
Also, another totally
Number
not
one,
credible
everybody,
is-
just so you know, dudesandbeer.com. Go on and check us out on iHeart.com.
I'm sorry, I'm not loyal to that.
I'm not extraordinarily loyal, but it's one of those that it's like, hey, at least here's like an outlet. Here's at least some people, but it's something other than like Reddit and everything else.
I'm not letting you get away with that, Chris. We don't get to use iHeartMedia as a main source just because they give you an avenue. That's not what we do.
I didn't
And by
say
we,
that
I mean
that's
right
why.
now.
But it was the only thing that I could find that was not like a viral thread somewhere.
And that's how you know it's real.
What was no, but it's just strange and it's weird because there was apparently this cryptic message that was sent to numerous people via Twitter.
All right, let's let Chris tell the story. Go ahead.
And when it was decrypted, it talked about an alien invasion coming to Earth.
Hey, do you have a song
Hold on.
Like Clyde
Hold on.
Lewis does.
I don't have radar love. I don't have radar love.
Go ahead, keep saying it. Sorry, I was gonna
yeah, I do have.
It's my purse! I don't know you!
Talking aside. I was just providing a soundtrack.
No, we
Okay.
have that's my purse. That's what we have.
Well, no, you should be slowly fading in this ethereal space music.
Yeah.
While you're ramping up to the big topic.
Yeah,
Go
it was just wild because the people who took it and decoded this message, it was talking about an alien invasion coming, and the coordinates that were given were the same coordinates of the last known coordinates of the Malaysian airliner that just went missing. Yeah, exactly. Cue X-Files music. I do not have enough money to pay Mark Snow. So,
Yeah, that's why.
him
it's
and
so
Vince
out of
Gilligan
key.
get nothing. Nothing from this episode. Thank you
last
for
note was
doing
off.
that off key. But, yeah, it's just one of those, like, we see these kind of things happen all the time on social media. We see these just like little shadow things pop up that are just absolutely
Hey,
anomalous.
look over here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. But
Like if you remember
Right.
a couple years ago, it was the gold dress, blue dress.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So speaking
That wasn't
of the,
really alien as much as just people have different kind of conical things in their eyes, so they can't see things as well.
But I think Chris's point is it's a one news story that's out of many they keep pushing
Right.
until it holds.
Billions of people actually
Yeah,
cared about what color the
let's
fucking
not
dress
forget. Let's not
Yeah.
forget what was happening during the Malaysian airplane falling. The
That?
Ukrainian war was starting.
Yeah.
Sponsored by
Goodness,
the
back.
company of Obama.
Yeah.
Let's not
I
forget.
don't know who gave you that idea.
The truth, because I know the truth.
Well,
was. Is that
yeah.
there?
Yeah, Benghazi was busy happening.
Yeah.
Benghazis!
So aliens are coming to planet Earth.
But
I hope so. That could shake things up.
that
The
was
Nordics
quite
look like
honest,
us. I
and
think they've
quite
been here for
honestly,
quite a while, but they
I was
blend in.
working
Oh
broadcast.
yeah, the Nordics are definitely aliens.
I was
that's for
working
sure.
Right,
broadcast
right.
radio at the time
I just
for
found out I'm 5% Nordic.
for somebody.
Broadcast radio,
who-
quote unquote, Alex Jones.
Fucking one of the NATO guys come
don't
through
do
and it's
that
like, yeah, they're here
because
already.
I'm still under agreement for a certain amount of time, and that time is almost up, and that's cool. But until then, yeah, I was on broadcast.
Hold on. You can't say things negative about this person. But can you say
I
positive
can.
things?
I was never
It was just
employed
a
by him,
thing.
and he sucks.
Whatever,
Can you say positive things?
whatever.
I say I saw.
I fucking
goddamn
love Alex
UFO.
Jones.
However, I do too. He's
I think he's
a great
hilarious.
guy. He's fucking
I think it's
awesome.
hilarious.
He is
No, he's
awesome
the worst.
entertainment.
No, the
So
worst.
long as
you
you
have-
People
take
take
it
him
as that.
seriously. There's
Right.
Never mind. I could go on for,
Take
like,
him seriously.
ever about how
Right,
much I
right,
hate
Julie,
that
dog.
man.
I'm
Yeah.
with you, and you know what? Fuck it, I don't give a shit because he said my name on air like way
I was
long
gonna
before
say, Chris,
my
he
fucking
said your
NDA
name.
was over.
You know, Barack Obama and Rhett Miller follow me on Twitter, so
You lie.
no.
Well, number one, I'll tell you,
Barack
just
Obama follows me on
just-
Twitter.
I like
Okay,
that. You,
okay.
Say whatever they want.
I would like you to do this right now.
Is it Barack
Feel-
Obama or
Feel
Barack Obama?
feel free to
Which
go
actor?
up to the. You feel free to go to the search tab, and Google.
Is it a blue check mark?
Barack Obama pays for Twitter
Right.
followers.
Oh,
He
so
didn't. I would be his follower for free, but he followed me. I don't.
No, it's
I mean,
just the
also
fact that his
him.
whole account is botted.
Well, everybody.
Maybe
everybody
still
knows
cool.
it's
Either way, I'm
How-
saying that like. It's not that impressive because like he's not a cool person. He fucking sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Not
he's
Barack
handsome.
Obama. I love him.
Yeah.
I love Barack
Dallas.
Obama.
He did some great things. He was absolutely amazing.
Mark Jones.
Name,
He did
name,
some great
name
stuff.
one thing that Obama did that was great. I want to hear it.
I'd rather have an alien.
Just
You'd
name
rather
one
have an
thing.
alien?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
yeah.
talk about aliens. Okay, who's coming
Great.
and what do they look like?
I don't know
Valiant.
what they look like.
Valiant.
But I know that there's apparently some Twitter voicemail warning us about their coming.
And what does it say?
Yeah,
It
it's crazy.
says that it's dangerous. And it's wrong.
It says they live.
Yeah, they live.
baby eating reptiles.
No.
That's what it
And
says.
you're gonna definitely turn the frogs gay.
But
Well,
yeah,
that's true. That
yeah.
story is actually true.
Well, and you know
the
that,
water does turn the frogs gay.
That's-
I just want you to know.
What?
it does.
The water is
actually.
turning the frogs gay. It's true.
It's so
not a lie.
unfortunate.
It's actually
like
Oh,
look
dear
it
God,
up.
if you even wait, listen, I don't know you, and apparently I've fought with you on social media before, but are you seriously an Alex Jones person? Is that how you
No.
came to be
No.
on the show?
No,
No, I'm not.
no, he is not.
But I'm an
Thank
honest
goodness.
person, and I
I
will.
bet
I
But
don't-
if you,
Hold on, Julie. I'm an honest person. I don't say things anti just because I disagree with some ideals of a person. The
'Cause
water
you're
turning frogs things gay is actually true. Estrogen in our drinking water that comes from when you take your birth control pills. I'm not saying you do, but when a female
Think of
eats
the
birth
vasectomy
control
because-
pills, yeah.
Yeah.
So if any estrogen gets in our water through urine from a woman,
Nice.
it goes into the wastewater. It does not get filtered out by a wastewater system. It goes into the water systems, into the rivers, into the swamps, into the soil, and it affects animals. And that is absolutely proven. And those frogs he was talking about, actually have been affected by that. I'm not saying I'm an Alex Jones supporter.
The boy
but
ain't lying.
Truth is not affected by idealistic political affiliations.
Chain of something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The man has a crazy way of saying something, but if you Google it, there are actual news stories about it, and there are
And it's
actual
crazy.
scientific studies from University of
Looks like
Caltech,
science
stuff like
has
that.
concluded that birth control pills account for less than 1% of the estrogen found in the nation's drinking water.
God damn, dude.
no,
You know what?
absolutely.
I'm not
Shit.
saying it's just estrogen
It's
pills.
no,
It could be
yeah.
soy products. It could be a lot of different things. It could be the hormones.
Dude,
fed to cows,
soy
it
products
could be-
is fucking crazy. I'm vegetarian because I have crazy autoimmune things. And I was eating a lot of soy for a while, and I was like crying constantly.
Yeah,
It
it could
was
affect
soy
your mood,
making me
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It could affect your mood. I used to date a girl that had she was a vegan and she had some issues with her thyroid because of the amount of soy that she
it'll
ate.
kill it. And mine
Yeah,
got all
yeah.
jacked up from it
She
because
got thick and all right.
I couldn't eat meat.
Yeah.
I still can't, but now I
And she
also
was
try to stay away
crazy.
from soy as much as possible.
You should definitely not do soy. Nuts are much better
Yeah.
than soy if you're not
Yeah.
allergic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Soy
allergic
is
to
better.
some of them. It's just my body's stupid. It's fine.
Everybody's not stupid. It's very
Yeah.
temporary though, so you're not gonna
It
get
is
it. You're not
temporary.
gonna
Thank
have it.
goodness, kind of, because this one's not great.
Know what
Hopefully
it
whatever
likes
comes
for
next
right
is
now.
better.
Oh, you believe in? Well, hold on. You believe in reincarnation, apparently.
No, I don't know. I don't believe in anything.
Oh my God, she's a nihilist.
Oh God, she's a
Oh,
nihilist.
She's a nihilist.
Not a nihilist.
I had
So-
no idea that I had a
I don't-
nihilist
I don't
on my
believe
show.
in any
Oh my God, she
We are
believes in
nihilists.
nothing.
I haven't given the afterlife much thought. Is that better?
No, it's whatever. I'm giving a lot of thought.
Or I'm a nihilist. Who knows?
It's true.
I don't think so, though.
I think we're going somewhere.
I feel
I
like
say that
weren't
funny,
we
but I
gonna
really
were we
do.
gonna wrap up? a
Cut
while
off
ago?
the Johnson.
No, seriously. Shit, man.
It's called AI. That's where we're going. We're going into what
Goddamn
Chris is
pyramid
afraid of.
that they did
That's the
6,000.
thing.
That's what
I
Chris is afraid of. We're going into the
Dude.
all-seeing eye.
Dude,
want
I'm
that.
sorry, but yes, when it comes to shit like fucking automated vehicles and stuff like that, Johnny Carr, welcome to fucking Total Recall. You know, like you just hop into a car and you tell it where the fuck to go and it takes you
Hey,
there.
I have a question.
I have no faith in
I
that
have a
shit.
question, right? So
None.
if it does exist, if we will go into AI, if we will like go into the ether of AI, do you think that some of us are more? Because I think I'm peculiar and I have a very independent thought process. Do you think that somebody like me who thinks he's important because he thinks differently? I'm using myself as an example. Do you think that some people are more important than others? Because we know that there's drones out there that are so fucking retarded. Don't mean to use that derogatory, but there's so many people that are so stupid that they don't even have an individual thought in their body that they actually put out into the world.
Sounds like
So-
eugenics.
No, I'm not doing some Charles Murray shit.
I think
We're just saying,
maybe
no,
if they're
don't-
gonna
let's
bother
don't go that
to
far.
create the what
Be
is
judged
that word?
upon your intelligence, maybe.
Well,
Yeah,
eugenics
no,
is
I
a
think if they're
different
gonna
thing.
bother to
Yeah.
put like human brains into computers, they
Oh,
probably
yeah.
Yeah.
would.
Well,
pick
they're going to
some
choose certain people,
interesting
right? They're
ones.
not going to
Right,
choose
yeah.
the janitor at the Hilton. They're not going to choose like the.
But
guy
honestly,
working
I don't
the
think
cash
they're gonna
register.
choose me or you. I think they're gonna choose the fucking robot
Well,
people,
it
like
depends. I know,
the
Julie.
lazy people that don't kind of think too much, because
David Rothschild, yeah.
that
It
would
did-
be much easier,
Well, it
right?
doesn't-
And then
it's
they
not
would
about
probably
easy.
keep the smarter people sort of on tap for later if they needed to like tweak them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
We're talking about like because at this point I think we're at the crux. We're like at the height of our intelligence as humans. So if AI is going to take on our personalities and take on our
That's a
thought,
good point. Yeah, I like
and
that.
take,
well,
and taking our thought processes, they're going to amalgamate the ones that are the smartest at the moment.
hold on, because
But I think
I'm
that those
trying
are
to
going to be the ones
find.
that they're going to want to have like out in Gen Pop.
Then
They're
we
gonna
just
wanna
had the
keep us
death
for
of a
special
guy.
occasions. Or keep you all for special occasions.
Then we had a death
They
of
might just keep me in
talking.
Gen Pop because I'm not that smart.
Yeah, but you're a female. If you still have, you're at a birthing age, they might keep you just for that.
Well,
It's
sure,
not
I watched The
AI.
Handmaid's Tale.
I have not seen that.
I'm
I
not
haven't seen
birthing
that.
age though, and I'm about to lose my uterus on Thursday, so I'm
Oh,
really
my
used to
God.
Oh no!
What are you gonna do with it?
We need to become like Wolverine
are
and
you
just
gonna
rip
do like-
these motherfuckers up.
that.
Are you gonna do like they do after birth? Wait, that's not the uterus. That's just the afterbirth. You can't eat your.
Yeah, no, I'm not having a baby. Gross.
That's not like a placenta.
That's not like a placenta. That's the
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I also didn't like bury my placenta after I did give birth.
It's either intelligence worthy or purpose worthy.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I think the purpose-worthy ones
And
are
they're
the
going to
ones
look
that
at
they'll
us,
mass
even
create.
though as a human being, as long as we
Okay.
came across as in time, oh, you think you're intelligent? Well, I just need you for breeding.
But
How
that's
about
not
that?
our
Well,
lifetime.
no. I mean, quite honestly, one of the articles that was in Dudes and Beer News today was MIT Technology Review. A startup is pitching a mine uploading service that is 100% fatal.
I
So,
saw that you can give them your brain, but then they kill you. Like, no thanks, I'm
Okay,
gonna roll the
upload
dice
it.
here.
Nah, brother.
Brain.
well, no, that's the thing. You can upload an imprint of your brain, but it's going to have to be as you go out.
Need to
No,
be the
that's
same.
the wrong way to
Work
do
with
it.
the
What you
singularity,
do,
though.
Yeah.
Would I
Oh no,
know?
no. I understand
that's the
what
wrong way to go about it.
I understand like what you would theoretically want to do, but you have to understand that the technology would have to be as you go out. We download everything
No,
from
no,
that
no.
last
But
point.
here's what you do. We're now at the
Send it.
point. But listen, we're now at the point where almost everything is recorded, right? Our whole industry that we work in is evolved around recording everything. Our phones,
Sure.
our
Yeah, we
texts, our
keep the
emails.
fucking bomber.
And
Right.
all they do is, as long as you're honest,
So you got a 3-second buffer,
right.
3-second
I
pre-record.
need some delay on those speakers. please.
How
So
does
what
that work with the singularity?
uh,
Like,
well,
would
it's
I
the moment.
know that now I was a robot?
Yes,
No,
exactly.
singularity is the moment where artificial intelligence becomes smarter than you.
Well, singularity is the point technically where man and machine melds.
Right.
Look,
So,
look,
like,
I
if
have
I
this in
could
my head.
become
We're
a
already-
machine,
Where-
would I
where-
know that I
well-
was the machine?
Well, no,
I
it's the
can see
fact
that.
that, like, we have wetware where we have, like, you go up and you put your hand up to a door and it just opens. You don't need a plate. You don't need anything like that. Like, we are one with machine, and machine is one with us. That's the concept of singularity. And quite honestly, we're not too far away from that. Like, there are people.
Maybe.
There are people who have already like activated their labs that way, stuff like that. There's a guy in Australia
Okay,
that
here we
for
go.
the last 5 years has had his whole lab
Right.
utterly.
Well, the
like-
singularity is a little bit different than
It's
that.
some-
The
Yeah.
The singularity is the moment in which technology becomes more powerful than man and controls human fate. So
Right,
it actually
right.
takes on our process and then runs
Right.
with it. And I want that to happen. You know why? Because I'd rather be killing a bunch of robots than humans. That'd be a fun war to have. They might win though.
Oh, dude, they're gonna
think they
take
might
us
win,
down,
though,
bro.
dude.
I'd rather be a human.
They don't have, like, guts.
Yeah. But there's the point. Is we live in a time. We live in a time.
I
where
told
can
you, I'm going to be
literally-
like the drone bot. I'm not going to be like the smart
Right.
bot.
That's all right.
Fine.
we
Gotta
live
have
in-
I'll
pretty
teach
robots
you how to
too.
use a shotgun, Julie. Don't you worry.
No.
Unless
I
this is
don't
Terminator
like
3, I'll
guns.
take the heart or whatever. But,
I'll
you
shoot
know.
a robot, though, probably.
Exactly.
I want to be more human than cyborg.
Oh,
Well,
but wait,
I
what about when those robots become human and they have emotion and thought, Julie?
Right?
Well,
Okay.
I'm
I'm
Yeah,
already
okay.
about to run Alexa
you're-
over for laughing
you're
at my
right on
mouth.
that.
she won't
Okay.
fall in love with that robot. She's in love with Brian.
I mean,
I
you
am.
can be a
You're
who's
very
a fucking
possessive
badass
of my
dude.
relationship
You-
with Brian. I'm not going to cheat on him with
You
robots
can
or with
be in
Anderson
love-
Cooper.
I understand that.
Robot.
You can be in love with a robot and your
Anderson
boyfriend at the same
Cooper
time.
and robots are like way out of question.
Anderson Cooper and
Oh, that's
robot.
right.
Oh my gosh. Maybe an Anderson
Actually,
Cooper
I think
robot.
Anderson Cooper
Oh,
is a
that's
Dude, that
different.
fucking dick face that runs the world news on CBS or whatever, like the world
Dude, you
news on
just
6
blew my
o'clock.
fucking paradigm
That-
for his head.
That
Cooper
son
is
of a
a
bitch
robot.
right there is CIA. And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you
Wow.
guys, nobody
Wow.
looks this good, this cut, this fucking nice, and he's
Holy
telling
shit.
the world news. You
He's
son of
like
a-
the modern day Max Headroom.
That's what I was just about to say.
Oh
Anderson
my
Cooper
god!
is Max Headroom.
Get out of my head! It's creepy enough in there without you in there.
Julie might be
Get
too
out of
young
my
to
head.
remember. Julie, how old are you?
39.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's not too young. She remembers Max Headroom.
I
I remember Max
I don't know.
Headroom.
My
Anderson
parents
Cooper is
but
Max
it's
Headroom.
on TV.
Yeah.
Julie's the same age,
Wow.
actually.
Okay, then y'all both remember.
Yeah.
Anderson Cooper is Max Headroom.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
Case closed.
1984. Yeah, no. My mom was in a cult growing up, so I didn't have TV or
Yeah.
internet or
You
anything.
remember, you remember that old
shit.
movie called Tough Guys, and it had those
What?
two old guys, and then they
Hold on.
Max
Steve,
Headroom. So,
we
yeah.
just-
Stop.
Steve, we just let
Hold
Julie
on.
say my mom was in a cult growing up. I didn't get to watch TV, and we breezed past it.
Yeah, don't bring up freaking.
We didn't tell them more
Yeah.
about that. What's going on with
Yeah.
that?
Oh, well, it's because
Please.
Chris knows. It's not a secret. She was
I
in this cult
understand that,
called
but please.
The Flowers.
This Chris knows, the other Chris does not know. Steven
we used to
interrupted
have
your
shows.
story.
I grew up in Boston,
Okay.
and Boston is a very Catholic city, obviously. And I went to a Catholic church, but it was one of the weird Catholic churches that the actual Catholic church had said was like not a good one because they said the mass like facing backwards. But anyway, people in it thought that that was not extreme enough, so they turned my mom onto this cult called Our Lady of the Flowers, in which
Wait a minute.
we used to go to Flushing's Queen. I can't make this up if I tried, and march around and take Polaroid pictures during the weekends. But also, they thought that the technology was like the breeding grounds for the devil. So my dad would buy TVs, my mom would cut the cords and throw them out the windows. We weren't allowed to listen to music. We also couldn't show, like, if you put your fingers up to your like trachea, like 2 fingers,
She's showing
past
me right
that,
now.
you couldn't show skin. And then the same
wow.
for your wrists and the same for your ankles.
I had some Pentecostal family members
So I
the
could-
same way.
So I can't see your cleavage at all. Huh? Interesting.
Damn it.
And
Your
what
neck
else?
is so enticing.
I know now
Stop
my
that.
sister. My sister was a
Say
little.
girl, say girl.
She can't
Nice
wear
name.
collars or turtlenecks or corduroy or anything like that. I'm
Is she-
not.
and your
that
sister's still
weird.
that way?
Yeah, she still can't. Like,
Really?
she has
Yeah.
panic attacks if she has to wear something that's like
Seriously?
form-fitting around her throat because it was
Really?
for me it was like kindergarten
Yeah.
to 5th grade.
Yeah.
So for my sister it would have been like 2nd to 7th grade.
So
which is
how
a little
about you
bit more
now? How do you
formative.
feel now?
I am anti-religion for myself. People can make their own choices. I
Do you
have
do you-
no issue
yeah.
with skin,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not wearing a revealing outfit at all right now. I'm wearing like
not too much.
corduroys,
yeah.
actually, in a
Beautiful,
high-collared
beautiful
shirt.
TARDIS on your leg right now.
Very
I
interesting.
do. I love tattoos, and my mom cries
Right.
every time I get a tattoo. But for my mom, it wasn't the religion. She's mentally ill, so she grasps onto things like that. So she has changed religion several times. This
It
one
was
was just
stability.
Yeah.
She was looking for stability.
a big one. Yeah, she likes it. My
People do
dad,
that.
whatever. So either way, I grew up without television or friends or media of,
Holy shit.
of any.
So here's my question. When did you actually find out about Max Headroom?
Like right now. I just Googled.
Okay, so
Oh,
so look, I
whoa,
want you to
dude.
do me a favor. I've never seen this, and I don't even know if it's real, but I can positively promise it exists. Just look up Max Headroom, Anderson Cooper, YouTube, and tell me what you find. It's got to be phenomenal. I know it's real. I know it exists. Because Max Headroom is Anderson Cooper. That's like, look at him. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's a tangent.
Put some sunglasses on him. Black suit, black tie.
So basically,
It's Anderson Cooper.
basically, he's a robot.
Max Headroom is a little bit more like the Terminator meets Anderson Cooper.
Right.
Right, but see,
Yeah.
that's my point. Is that Anderson Cooper is a robot? Is kind of where I'm headed.
Yeah.
This whole AI conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm attracted to robots.
You're attracted to robots. Brian,
Where's
she's not
my
going to
dad?
deal me with a
Yeah.
robot. It's not
Yeah.
happening.
Introducing Robo Brian,
So
2018.
In the new war for America, Julie falls in love with a robot called Anderson Cooper, who
Even,
funnily looks like Max Headroom.
Right.
Max Headroom.
Anderson is a good-looking man.
He's a good-looking older dude.
Yeah, yes,
yeah.
he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a handsome
Yeah.
fella for a Nordic.
Yeah.
He's very Nordic.
Yeah, you want to
Yes,
dress it better
that-
than him, but he's
yeah.
a good-looking dude.
He's an alien.
Yeah.
He's an alien and a robot. He's a Nordic. Nordic people
Yeah.
are aliens.
Yeah.
That's been proven.
It's hard that way.
That's
Hey,
true. Steve
given-
was telling me earlier that the Nordic people were aliens.
Nordics
Oh,
are.
that's right.
Ah.
That's true.
Steve
Eh,
ain't
eh.
lying.
I just
No,
found
I-
out that I'm 5% Nordic.
I
and
have NATO people
Oh,
that
did
are.
you do the DNA thing?
I did the DNA thing, and I'm like 12% Neanderthal or some shit.
My God, you gave your DNA to some strange people?
No. The
Well,
Neanderthals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't care about the Neanderthals. I asked you a straight question. You gave your DNA to some strange people?
Well, at least two.
Who
I
cares?
have 2 children, so yes. Strangely enough, they took my DNA.
I mean, other than the thieves that are your offspring.
Oh, yeah, I just spit in the cup. Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah. Okay.
with 1,000 women.
Who cares? What are they going to do with his DNA?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
believe me, there's a genetic clone of myself out there right now,
Is there?
and he's like climbing things in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, I got a
But-
couple of them. I got 2.
Clone. He's only half you. Don't get carried away. He's half Ames, too.
Oh yeah, he's great. That's the better part of him. Mine's the animal part of him that wants to climb shit before he knows how to crawl or walk. That's like, oh, hey, you're a rigger.
I'm gonna climb.
You're gonna climb and make money. Okay, cool.
What?
But
Nice.
you know,
It's what you would.
what?
Now you tell me.
Some what?
So I took y'all's podcast and kind of made a big soup of it. Sorry about that.
That's
I
all
took
right.
y'all on many different tangents.
Bro,
No.
you throw
First thing.
something else in there, dude. Yeah.
Now they're saying that the military ordnance was mishandled, and that's why it exploded, and it's definitely not part of the other explosions.
Yeah, I wonder how many are the
Huh.
other ones are not. Well, I guess
It
they
is.
are. They have to be.
The
What?
thing is, I know what you were saying, other Chris.
Yeah.
They have done tests on the shrapnel that's in all of them, which is how they know definitively that a lot of them are related, because they
Okay.
all have the same type of nails and the same type of sheet metal and the same type of wiring.
Right.
But this one didn't have any of those similarities, so that would
Yeah.
make
If
sense
you
why
were
it's
as
not
crazy
related.
as me and that other Chris, the one that's normally on this show,
Some
Then-
what?
yeah, then guess what? It might be possibly still, because you would be like, guess what? I'm gonna throw a fucking curveball and I'm gonna use this other shit.
Right?
You know what I mean?
I know, totally.
You know what? If you're a goddamn investigator, you gotta think like the criminal. You know what? You when you walk into the scene, you don't need this guy
Well,
from
because he
Cambridge.
already changed
Guess
it
what
from
the fuck
packages
you know?
to
Yeah.
then the thing with the
Have
wire.
you been in the east
and then-
side
Yeah.
like me, bro? Have you been this side? Have you been like
Possible.
me? Like then you'd be like, yeah, this is what I know. This is what these punks ass do. This is what I used
Well,
to do.
What it-
Well, and
yeah.
that's what we have to figure out is number one,
You mean-
the most important thing to figure out is it the same explosive type?
Yes, for the most part.
If
It has
if it's the same explosive type, then now we're talking about what triggers it, and then we're talking about
Well, let's be happy that it's not something more
Yeah.
dangerous. It's really not.
no.
These aren't bombs that are
Don't
killing.
bend over.
dozens of
That seems
people.
to be
Why
the
all of
thing.
a
Just don't
sudden,
put your
Austin?
face in it.
Why all of
Literally,
a
I'm
sudden-
just gonna walk out. If I get a package, I'm gonna shoot it every time with my 38 stub nose in the yard, and if it
Yeah.
doesn't blow up, I'm gonna hope I didn't destroy it.
Yeah.
Shoot away.
I just put some holes in my new damn jaws.
Fuck! God damn it! My new console has holes in it.
Yeah.
Don't shoot your
Why all of
toys.
a sudden this point in time in Austin? Why?
Because
Who knows?
Austin
The
is a
Zodiac
city.
Hey,
that
fucking
is-
Jeff Dahmer,
Look,
who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason why
I like the Zodiac theory. I'm down with that.
I don't believe that's a superstition.
that's-
No, I know,
That's
but
a
it's just
superstition.
dope. It's just dope.
It's not
Fuck
dope.
it.
What's dope about it?
Let's roll with it.
Why
not?
What's
I
dope
like
about
that.
it?
Who cares?
I care.
Why not?
Yeah,
It's hip,
but I
bro. It's hip. It's what's in.
You know why Austin is the most famous city in the world right now? That's why.
It is.
like I'm on to that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. No.
At least during South by, Austin is literally the most famous
Yeah.
city in the world. That's the reason why.
Yeah.
Whoever did it is doing it. That's the only reason why.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's just a complete fucking happenstance.
Fanatic. It's a fanatic that hates the fucking Californians, and he's a fucking true Austin guy or somewhere other.
Really? You
Yeah,
think
I
that a
doubt
true
that.
Austin
There's no
guy
way.
would try to go around killing people in
Fuck
old
no.
Austin neighborhoods? These
That-
are not new neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's all
Yeah.
I'm throwing out at the moment because it's like
No,
that's
I
what I'm
disagree.
throwing out. But
I
but at the
disagree.
same time, it's like that's what you got to go after or things.
Ooh,
Like,
did I tell
why do
you
you-
that this
why do you-
window came to my house the other day and asked me if my windows were shatter resistant and what year our neighborhood was built? I was
What?
like, why? You gonna blow it up? And I closed
yeah,
the door.
like hey, that's why
Yo,
here
look,
it is. Right
looks
there.
to me, Julie, like you have the lead on every motherfucker that's been involved in this. As far as I can tell, Julie's got the lead on all of it.
Right?
He lives
Holy
in my
shit.
neighborhood. I'm not even kidding you.
Y'all
I
should
think
have video
he
what
lives
I'm
in my
doing.
neighborhood. I'm not the only one in my neighborhood who thinks that too. Like, you should see the Sendera Next Door app is all like, pretty sure the bomber's
Yeah.
our neighbor, right? Like, yeah, pretty sure.
I can catch this guy
So if you're
faster than the
listening,
APD.
FBI, it's Sendera. You want to look in Sendera.
I can catch this some bitch real fast.
Yeah.
If they let me into the files that they ain't
There you go.
posting.
Uh,
Cause I'm on it like a
I'm showing Steven the evidence that Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer. He hadn't heard that theory before.
Oh,
Ted
yeah. Other
Cruz
than
is the Zodiac
I
killer.
thought it was Ted Cruz's father.
other than something the point.
What?
Yeah.
Pretty
What did
well
Trump say?
established.
What did Trump say that Ted Cruz's
It does.
dad was a
I like
serial
it
killer?
goes. That
Oh my God.
No, that's not true. I'm totally off base. He killed Emma.
That's okay. You know what? That's now the title of this episode. Ted Cruz's father is the Zodiac killer.
it's earlier that was supposed to do the press
We
conference
will-
where it's supposed to be.
You
about
gotta
Austin.
listen to
Oh.
2.5 hours of this episode
It's-
before you find out.
I think that
It's all
that
about-
there's nothing at all factual about the fact that
Has-
Ted
has-
Cruz's dad
Oh,
but
is the Zodiac killer.
Yes.
Ted Cruz
Zodiac killer.
said he
I'm
wanted
just
to
playing.
porn star from the get go.
I'm sorry, Chris. What were you
So
saying?
Ted Cruz is the he's what's that dude's name from Addams Family?
I don't.
Uncle Fester.
Uncle
Not
Fester?
The other one, the
What?
vampire. Nothing. Never mind.
Oh.
Addams Family. Look up Addams Family. Ted Cruz.
Okay.
I've had 4 beers so far. 5.
Oh damn!
Wow.
I got a fucking line of them over here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't even count these guys.
Well,
Dun, dun, dun.
we do attribute a lot of this show to that, but just kind of looping everything.
Sorry. I just
Oh.
showed Chris. I just
Okay,
showed
he's
Chris
talking about Grandpa.
Yeah.
He's talking about Grandpa, and that's Grandpa Munster.
Grandpa. The
That's
monster's
Grandpa Munster, not the Adams Family. That's Grandpa Munster.
Sorry. It's
I got
Yeah.
and all the wrong
So,
here
I
on
can
this one.
understand getting them mixed up. That's all right. They both had their own different fandom at a different time.
I
But
bring the
you know,
intelligence and
just-
Chris or through the fucking facts.
just trying to bring everything back around. It comes back to the idea of mass panic. The idea of
Man.
when you
Vibe
bring
fear.
about a story, when you bring about a storyline, the fact that the explosions in Austin started happening long before South by Southwest, but made no national headlines until after the festival was over.
Yeah.
And that
I
was
think
just...
honestly that was South by related. I know that we've already talked about that, but I think it was racially motivated at the beginning. That people just didn't care because it was just one black guy.
I disagree with you. I think they just didn't want it to come out because of South by.
Who's going to go to a city because of one crime occurred, though? Like, crimes occur in Austin all the time.
They can
I know.
occur to.
I know, and they pretend that Austin's safe, and it's not at all whatsoever. Austin is not a safe city, and they pretend it is. You can't go downtown any given night and not have a stabbing, assault, and or murder. Like, it's just like every night, and people are like, "Oh, Austin's a great city. It's so safe. It's so," and it's because they're trying.
A really expensive neighborhood, and there've been people walk into my backyard several times.
Yeah.
Like, it's not safe here.
No, it's not safe at all. It's pretending to be safe. It's
If
just
I was a
big old-
race that hated anybody other than my own race, and I could have bombed them any other night, why did it come so close to South by, or why during
Because he
South
wanted the
by?
national media attention,
Is how
and
I
he got
want
it.
to word it.
That could be true as well. Yeah, I don't think it's a racial thing. I'm gonna be honest. I mean,
Right.
If it was
right.
a racial thing, it would have came with
Fear of race.
Right.
it would have came with a statement. Racial things come with statements.
Yeah.
And
No,
honestly,
I think
50% of the time,
Right.
racial things aren't real.
Yes.
No, I think
Right.
that we didn't care because he was a black guy, and it was one black guy in a not white neighborhood originally.
That's
I don't
not
think
true.
the bomber gave about what race he was. I think maybe as a whole, it didn't register too much because nobody really cared.
Okay, Julie, name a white person that's been killed in Austin this year, or name an incident. You can't, can you?
Been killed in Austin? I mean, there's been a bunch of
Yeah.
stabbings. On
Okay,
60
name one though. Name a white woman that was killed by the police last year. You can't name her. You know why? Because people don't care. It's not about race. It's not that people don't care about black people. It's just that it just doesn't matter for the media. Can you name the white woman's name that was killed by police last year without Googling it right now?
No.
Can you name why? That's because you're controlled by the media and you don't care because you don't know because it's not fed to you. There is a race war being pushed to you by people that aren't us, and they want you to think the way that you think, and they want you to be the liberal that you are and the good little girl, and to be the one that.
So, Chris, can you tell me that? Can you give me one that you're kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying I'm against you or for you.
Oh,
you
the
know what
death
I mean?
girl, right?
Well, no, we're not.
Right.
We're not. You're not against me. Like, I'm not saying
Right,
anything that you
right,
should be
right.
against.
No, I
Are
kind of
you
feel
talking
what you're
about
getting
the
at,
death girl,
actually.
the jogger?
The girl in South Austin who had a gun, who threatened to hurt herself, and she had a BB gun, and the cops came and blew her ass away, and nobody heard about it.
Okay, great.
Well, I
one,
thought you
yeah.
were talking about the deaf girl who was a jogger who was also white who got shot for jaywalking or something because
She didn't get shot. She got arrested. She got arrested
She
for
got
jaywalking.
arrested? Oh, I don't
and she
know.
was
Good
screaming
example.
and she was
Yeah.
hysterical. So my point is you don't know about these things because it's not fed to you. There's a
Right,
narrative.
right.
There's a narrative that there's a race war going on, and there's not. And if there was, it's not what you think it looks like.
Exactly.
You're not
Exactly.
against me because there's no reason to be against what I'm saying. I'm just telling you, you just don't
Right.
know about them. You just don't know about these
Right.
things because it's not fed to you. And the guy that got bombed, it wasn't because he didn't get talked about because they didn't care about him. KXN did put it on the news.
Well, yeah,
it was out
about,
there.
but it was
It got
talked about
talked
as not a murder and
It wasn't
maybe
because he was
suspicious.
black. It was because they did not want it to be on the news before South by.
Right.
Post South by
Oh,
blew up.
Don't.
Yeah.
People don't
Post-
care.
Post South by it blew up. I'm just tired of this narrative that there is like this.
No, you're right.
This massive racial conspiracy. There isn't. It's not. There's not a bunch of white people going, "We control the world. We're gonna make the black people die soon." No,
Right,
that's not,
right,
that's not what
exactly.
happened. What's
I
happening
think
is
a
there's
prime
a political
example is
process.
that I don't even think that I knew about this. You said it was before South by?
Yeah, it was March 2nd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a week and a
Before.
half before South by.
Yeah.
Okay, because the first, like
Leading
the one
into
that
South by, there
barely
were a
made
few.
news. Like they
the only,
talked
the
about
only
it.
one I
Barely.
heard was the morning we woke up and there was about 3 of them all in a row in a way. You
There
know
was
what I mean?
2, but they said
Yeah.
that it was 3 because they lumped that first one and it was March 2nd. And I remember when it happened on
Okay.
March 2nd, I was like,
Yeah.
why does nobody care? Something blew
Yeah.
up in this man's yard. This is a
Okay.
big deal.
Yeah.
And they were like, nope, everything's fine.
Yep.
Maybe
So-
suspicious. We don't want to call
Yeah.
it anything.
So that was at
nobody
least a
needs
day
to worry. And I was like,
ahead.
how does nobody need to worry? But
A few days ahead. And,
it was
you
2
know,
weeks ahead.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Shit, damn,
Exactly.
dude. That's way fucking, What
Yeah.
the fuck?
yeah.
What the fuck,
No,
dude?
the first one happened at
Holy
least
shit.
2 weeks ahead.
It was
Yeah.
2 weeks. It was March
Exactly.
2nd.
I'm giving you
Yeah.
as like when I had the guy in here with VR, dude, and I don't know what the fuck
And y'all
I'm
might not
like-
even remember that there was.
guinea pig. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm the guinea pig, and I'm the guy right now. I'm like, are you serious? And I normally keep up with a lot of shit, and
So
it's like,
there was also
okay.
a murder right close to y'all's studio on South First.
Yep.
Just last week, 12 shots were fired. 1 guy died. It wasn't in the news during South by, in the middle of South by. Nobody talked about
Yep.
it. There's actually a
Somebody
murder
got
almost.
in our neighborhood, right outside our neighborhood also, and the only reason that we knew about it is because of the like police scanner, and then also like it was somebody that somebody knew because they went to my son's school, but otherwise, yeah, it didn't make the news at all, and somebody totally
Yeah.
got murdered. Like,
Yeah, it's just proof that the news stuff is pushed for a reason. It's just like they need it to fit a narrative, and they being whoever they are. It's the people that
Right.
need to control your political opinions and what happens in our county,
Values.
state, or
and it's like
country.
the whole thing
It's-
is like Scooby-Doo, and that it's just like people
Yeah.
trying to control property values.
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
sometimes we want the property
It's
values
the
to go down.
optics.
Oh, look at that. Speaking of the optics, can we
It's
talk
the
about this for
optics.
5 seconds? Caritas. There's a reason why Caritas is on 7th and fucking Natchez. You know why?
Yeah.
Because they're
Yeah,
trying to
give me
keep that property down just enough to put the next big high rise right there. You know what
Oh, no
happened?
doubt.
That element is the reason why downtown Austin grew the way it did. They kept the homeless, they kept the bars, they kept the seedy mentality in that area of Austin, so the property values could be low enough for investors to come in and build it up for what it is.
Totally, no doubt. That's why they've kept like 6th Street is so
Bless
shicey.
you.
Like, yeah, no
Damn,
doubt.
Steve.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
No, when he said that, it rang a bell in me, bro.
Made
You
him
know,
just
because
burp in from the
I was
bell.
down there so many
Sounds like-
years. You know, I'm down there all the fucking time back in the day, and it's like, you know what? Like seriously, god damn. And then what you just said rings a bell. You know, what it does on a person's other end of the stream, the cities, whatever. And in my aspect or my view, it's like, dude, it's totally 2 different things colliding. And it's like, nah, dude, like, this ain't the way to go about doing
Wait,
this
are
shit,
you
bro.
saying you're having a come to Jesus moment, Steve? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
them all the time. He'll
Where's
worry
this
about it.
guy? Where's this guy? Nah, yeah, totally. Totally, man. Nah, it just, you know, humanity needs to fucking sum it up, bro. And it's like, nah, it's like, I guess, you know, everybody, it's, you know, you can't ever get everybody to collide or, you know, conform or be on the same level. So, but at the same time, that's humanity. But at the same time, but yay, for everybody at one time to come
We wouldn't
together
want
for
everybody
one.
to-
We live as one, so what does it take to us to fucking mount? Hey, we got that fucking thing going on, like, oh, the poles are melting. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, we need to, oh, this could affect the whole goddamn world. It's like, then you gotta convince a whole goddamn lot of people other than the goddamn city, you know? So then it's like, oh, okay, then you got this shit going on. So,
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
you know,
Oh my
but you
God.
got individual people with conscious minds that have to think on their own. So then you got to be like, hey, bro, like, how are you going to do this? Like, hey, everybody thinks on their own. Everybody, like, has their own opinion. So it's like, hey, whatever.
Can
So-
we edit in some Benny Hill music into this?
I'm worried.
Always look on the bright
Side of life. Better.
Life's a piece of shit.
Oh,
When you look at it.
Look at him.
Hey, my sidekick Julie. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And I thought that he-
I'm to the
Crabs,
point where
yeah.
I'm just a psychic now.
yeah, Julie's a sidekick. But you know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? It's like we all got to come together as humanity is to.
Yes, we should.
You know what I mean?
I like
It's
that
like,
concept.
hey, there's no red, there's no
Chris.
blue. Guess what? If you've been through 100 or 150 or 200 years or whatnot, it's like of the same blue, black, red, right or wrong. And the thing
All right.
didn't get right the
Well-
fucking time. It ain't gonna get done anyways. Hey, guess what? Did you ever figure out either one of those sides ain't right?
We'll figure it out at some point. Right now, I'm going to let Chris, our guest, take us out, and then we're going to finish things off.
All right, I want to follow up with what Steve just said.
Go ahead, man.
I like what you said, Steve. Coming together, all that is a little jumbled. It's a lot of things that we all say constantly, bulked into one, unity and all that stuff. I think that's a great thing. I would love for that to happen. However, I don't think that it's as simple as that. I believe that, and I don't know why I got on this tonight, but I've been saying this for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and follow it out with this, is I believe there are forces within inside of our communities, within inside our country, within inside our state, our counties, and within inside our personal relationships that are vying for some sort of friction to turn into something more than us just getting along together. And it could be
Right.
Russia, it could be Russia, it could be fucking whoever. But I doubt it's any more Russia than it is people at home. There's people that have a vested interest in you being at war, and a lot of those people are Democrats. A lot of those people
The
are
economy is
Republicans.
better.
A lot of those
Yeah.
people are Republicans. A lot of those people are people that are losing everything because they are afraid of what Trump's about to do to their America.
Right.
Whether you agree with him or whether you don't, it's not just him, it's
Yeah.
them. Trump is the catalyst. He's not the cause.
Right.
So something's
Exactly.
happening right now. There's people that want
Exactly.
you to be at war with each other, and I would advise you to think a little bit deeper. It doesn't take much. It seems like it's a lot of work. I would advise you to take some time to actually vet out the people that you get along with, to vet the people that you're talking to and what you're reading. But most importantly, don't hate your dad just because he might have voted for Trump. Don't hate your mom
Right.
just because she might
No.
have voted for Clinton.
No.
But
That's that
definitely
division.
don't
I
trust
wish
people.
my mom voted
Don't
for Clinton.
don't trust people. Don't trust people. I'm just saying that for sure. Don't trust people that
Yeah.
talk to you as a human being about ideas. Because I can disagree with you, but I can still get along with you. But
That's
most
right.
people aren't. Most people aren't doing that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's just it. And guys, hold the phone for just a moment. We're going to go ahead and go out on that thought. Thank you so much, Chris, for being
thanks
a
for
part of
having me.
this episode.
That's fine.
I can't thank you enough.
Let's do it again.
I've been wanting to do this forever, guys. Hold the phone for just a minute. Until next time, everybody, if you can't be good at it.
Be good at it.
Good talking to you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Dudes and Beer Podcast. To listen to our audio streams or chat with us live, download the official Dudes and Beer app for Android and iDevices, available on Google Play and iTunes markets. For more episodes, content, and information, visit us online at dudesandbeer.com. You can also find our episodes on Breach.tv, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast service. Dudes and Beer is a proud member of the HC Universal Network family of podcasts. For more about our sponsors and other podcasts on this network, visit hcuniversalnetwork.com. Thanks for listening, everybody, and until next time, drink responsibly.